Welcome in, McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Air drums this morning, huh, John?
LP3 is one of the best drummers out there.
LP3?
Yeah, that's his.
Is that like his Chris Paul
kind of, yeah,
nickname?
Yeah. His first name is French, and I can't remember I think it's Parsons, maybe?
Like LJ1, is that Lamar's thing?
You said his name's LP3, but his first name's French?
It's like Longinu, maybe? And so if you're in a punk band like Yellow Card, you can't really go out with Longinu.
Longinu.
Yeah.
Who's the best punk rock drummer?
Is his first name Le Pew?
It could be.
Le P3?
Wouldn't it be Trois?
Le Mew? I don't know.
Le P3?
Trois is 2.
No, Deux is 2.
Deux. Yeah,
Hot Shots.
Right.
Remember Hot Shots Part 2?
Oh, yeah. Deux. You're right. Deux.
Hey, did you guys bring ketchup to the show today?
Hey, Damien, they're at Birmingham Southern on Fox. Turn it on.
It's not a real thing. How can they be there?
I saw the sign.
Ghost of Birmingham Southern? At the for sale sign
of almost
Birmingham
October.
Southern?
Damien, they're going to do an auction today. Take this $20 here.
I was curious, did you guys bring ketchup this morning?
I didn't bring it. I have some
It's
in the...
not National Ketchup Day.
Got some in the general store back there in my office.
Ketchup.
I didn't bring any.
I'm not a ketchup guy.
You're not?
What?
No.
Okay.
Not a ketchup guy.
Wow.
Only on fries. Occasionally.
That's it.
That's it.
Okay.
So what is it instead? What? Please don't tell
My
me
kids
it's
will eat it
mayonnaise.
for everything. Like, no, I really like the one Chick-fil-A sauce, the goat. And don't give me that barbecue stuff, the honey roasted barbecue or whatever either. That's poor man's Chick-fil-A sauce.
Wow.
He says that just because I like it.
I know.
I know.
It's fine.
It's not like the manager. It's not like the owner brought a whole bag of
gate. You came out of the gate really mad yesterday. I thought maybe me ripping honey barbecue sauce from Chick-fil-A.
Well, I think everybody expects me to be all mad about Bear Alexander today, but guys, we've been telling you this is happening. It's just public now. It's just players are now, I guess, not afraid to say it and announce it. So
it's because they don't get ripped. People feel bad for him.
Okay, so Dwayne at Shiner, SCHINER, tweets an hour ago at Mac and Cube, should be good this morning. Tip, ketchup helps the crow go down.
Oh.
Is he referencing Sluka's agent saying that nothing was signed? Is he referencing that Sluka's agent is not a registered sports agent in the state of Nevada? Is he referencing that the Sluka family can provide no evidence of any deal being put in place? Is that what I need to know what we're referencing here? Because apparently we're wrong about our take on the Sluka situation yesterday. You can go out and give people quotes all you want. You can go out and tell people did stuff for you all you want. Prove it. I've seen no proof. Zero. Greg?
No proof. Proofless Joe Jackson.
Okay. Every now and then.
Someone's on it today.
Your grandpa jokes actually hit.
That one might be great grandpa.
Very occasionally.
That one might be great grandpa.
Every now and then.
What that?
I don't need that ketchup, Damien, because I have no crow to eat because I wasn't wrong about this. But I appreciate you bringing it in just in case.
Go buy Birmingham Southern. What?
What did you give him?
I tried to give him 20.
Greg handed you his wallet and you refused. What's wrong with you, Damien?
That was a bad idea.
Maserati time.
So I'm not sure what crow we're supposed to eat here from yesterday. Statement from UNLV yesterday also. We got statements from UNLV and from Blueprint Sports, which operates UNLV's collective. Said we want to address the recent developments surrounding Matthew Sluka and his decision to redshirt for the remainder of the year. To clarify, there were no former NIL offers made during Mr. Sluka's recruiting process. Additionally, friends of UNLV did not finalize or agree to any NIL offers while he was a part of the team, aside from completed community service. So the collective says they didn't give him anything. No one can provide any proof of anything, but Marcus Cromartie, his agent, when asked, can he return to the team after this expletive show, It's up to Barry Odom. Matt has been open to wanting to play football, but $3,000 a month for the next 4 months just isn't fair.
Life's not fair.
Thank you. I believe my 9-year-old would have thrown that in right there if she was here.
Just
There
like
you
that,
go.
yeah.
I'm glad me and her think the same.
Marcus Cromartie also confirmed to Yahoo Sports via Ross Dellinger, nothing was signed. But coaches promised $100,000 to Sluka during recruitment. I hear a lot of promises every day.
About to say.
I'll clean my room, Dad. I'll pick that up. I'll finish my plate. Just saying.
Promise I'll be good today.
Yep. I promise I won't hit my brother again.
Yep.
32 seconds later. Sluka's recruiter was the offensive coordinator, Brendan Marion. Cromartie would go on to say the collective may not have agreed to $100,000, but coaches did. So we're really beginning to kick the can down the road here. How many spots has the goalpost now been in for the Sluka family? 4, 6, 3. We're moving it. We are moving it.
Doesn't matter. Got sympathy in the court of public opinion.
Lots of it. People still coming after us. But that's okay. We don't need catch up for this. Don't need it. Don't want it. I will say ketchup on hash browns, the only thing for breakfast that I might even consider. Just a little bit.
Anything in place of hot sauce on breakfast is just a bad move.
You're a no hot sauce guy.
No, I'm all hot sauce.
Oh.
Nothing else.
Okay.
Salsa, occasionally.
Nothing else? No jelly?
No. I don't eat a lot of biscuits.
Didn't have to be biscuits to have jelly.
Cream cheese.
Mm.
I'm about cream cheese life.
Yeah, bagel. I'll take that.
Yep.
UNLV athletic statement. Football player Matthew Sluka's representative made financial demands upon the university and its NIL collective in order to continue playing. UNLV athletics interpreted these demands as a violation of the NCAA pay-for-play rules, as well as Nevada state law. UNLV does not engage in such activity, nor does it respond to implied threats. UNLV has honored all previously agreed upon scholarships for Matthew Sluka. UNLV has conducted its due diligence and will continue to operate its programs within the framework of NCAA rules and regulations, as well as Nevada state laws. I actually had a guy yesterday.
Did I hear demands in that? I did hear the demands
Multiple
in that
times.
Okay, I just want to make sure I heard
Multiple.
demands in that statement. Yes, demands. Demands.
I actually had someone come at me about this yesterday in reference to the historical dirty ways in which this university has operated. So, Guy, you're literally referencing 1991 to something that happened yesterday.
It matters,
That's
dude.
what we're leaning on here?
It was within 33 years, excuse me. The statute of limitations, 35 years. That matters.
We're born that way.
It's amazing to me. Like, no one's going to change their mind on this deal.
Nope.
Like, what you decide that colleges are bad guys and coaches are bad guys and that players are good guys. It's as simple as that. But it's a little bit like, the possibility in Batman where Harvey, right? Two-Face. What was Harvey's last name?
Dent.
Dent. Yeah. Harvey Dent goes from good to bad. Batman, the perception of him goes from good to bad. I mean, but in order to save face on the Gotham community, they had to make Harvey appear good. Like, this is not that dissimilar. It's a heel turn, but you have to be willing to acknowledge that there's a possibility that you might be on the wrong side of this deal. And it's a possibility that the player isn't always the good guy. It's a possibility. It's not a guarantee. It's not all the time, but it's definitely a possibility. So I think demands were made based on the information that I've heard, and that those demands were
Laughed at.
outrageous. And those outrageous demands suggested, it's fine. You can just go on. We're good. We can go win with the backup. Let's go. We want people that want to be here for the right reasons.
Which I believe they believe.
Yeah.
Dynasty Brit tweeting in, at Cole Cubelic looking super dumb right now. Don't pretend you wouldn't be quitting your job today if they only paid you 3% of what you were told you would get paid. Good on the kid. That was 4 minutes ago. Are you guys just not looking into this story at all anymore?
They don't care,
Have
dude.
you just read the one part?
People don't care.
Like the On3 story that you quoted, and that was from 21 hours ago. Just like hit one more scroll on Twitter real quick. Like refresh your timeline one time and give it a look at some other things that are going on.
Not important, dude. They don't care. It's not about that. The man, colleges, rich coaches, bad. Player, good. It's not hard. Like, people draw a line in the sand. Anybody that's in power is bad. And the player, who frankly actually has a ton of power, is good. There's like sympathy on the player side. But it's amazing to me that the two guys that actually were players here, we don't have that same level of sympathy because we kind of know how this thing works.
Well, then, Greg, yesterday...
And they keep referring to it as a job, by the way. Like, why do they keep referring to this as a job?
I didn't think they were employees.
And there was a time when I was strongly considering going to CBS, and it was like a real thing. It was a year ago. Like, it was a real thing. Like, almost went. Like, it's a big deal. Like, it was, tough. And I got news for you. CBS could have said a lot of things. It's going to be hard for me to leave without anything written in ink. Like, that's how jobs work. You need guarantees. And it doesn't sound like there were any.
So a lot of folks got ahead of themselves yesterday when Michael Allen, the fourth leading rusher for UNLV, tweeted, after 3 games, I've decided to utilize my red shirt and enter the portal at the end of the season as a redshirt junior. I'm grateful for UNLV and wish them nothing but success. Expectations for opportunities, unfortunately, were not met, and I'm excited to continue my football career. Now, folks took that expectation for opportunities part of that and decided to run with it.
See, I told you.
UNLV got problems. Barry got a mess.
Yep. I'll tell you what the mess is. There's only one ball, and you're the 4th best one carrying it.
Well, I feel like Michael Allen himself, which was about 5 minutes after said tweet, repaired that himself by tweeting out, my decision has no ties to NIL agreements. This is due to on-field opportunities. I did not receive a dime from any UNLV collective. So,
see, I told you they weren't paying him.
Goalpost moved. And that right there that's not unique to UNLV. That's not something that's only taking place there. That's not something that they are only seeing. This is happening at a lot of different schools, a lot of different places, with a lot of different kids. Now, some will stay in practice. Others will not. There are certain SEC coaches I've had this conversation with that says, immediately upon discussion, player is told to kick rocks and not be allowed back in the facility again. I told you I had a conversation with a different coach, Shane Beamer, yesterday that said, we wish you nothing but the best. You are allowed to use all of our academic facilities and our athletic facilities. Here are the timeframes in which you can do that. Your fingerprint scan will no longer be good during regular hours when my players are here, but you are more than welcome to use them after hours or before hours when we will not be in here. But you ain't going to be around my team, in other words. Lincoln Riley wants him out there practicing. He'll let him out there, help him get better. I guess you do need bodies at practice. Is this something, Greg, now that we see the Bear Alexander situation, which we'll get to on the other side, is this something that the new scholarship limitation rule could help offset a little bit?
Potentially. I don't know for sure. I mean, I always feel like every time I make a conclusion on situations like this, it has a tendency to, there's some type of loophole that I just don't anticipate, right? This one in particular, the 4-game redshirt rule, it's crazy because I was one that was in such support of this rule. Just because I thought it would keep young players engaged. Because I remember as a redshirt player, like, you barely even felt like you were part of the team, and you're young, you're freshman, like, you're away from home for the first time. Like, it was kind of hard, frankly. But to know that, hey, here's the carrot at the end of the stick, keep practicing really hard and we'll get you in some games when we can, that kind of makes things a little bit easier. and it makes the work and the monotony of the work a little bit more manageable. So I was in huge support of this, but man, it has been taken to another level. And in some cases, like guys aren't being utilized. Like the Bear Alexander example, like Bear Alexander, does he want a 2-gap? Because that's what it required to play against Michigan. Like, does he want to sit there and anchor down and allow his linebackers to play freely over the top? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. But there's a reason why he played just 21 snaps out of the 58 they saw against Michigan last week. And frankly, having watched Bear Alexander for a while, I don't know if he's the type of guy I want in there against a Michigan group that is going to try to maul you off the ball. So all that being said, man, like, I don't like where this is going. I'm hoping there's things to fix, but I don't know if there are ways to fix it. I think it's kind of is what it is.
The underbelly is what we always talk about and bring up. And you have to try to find it before new rules are put in place, and often they're not, and then they're taken advantage of, like this one has been for some time. We'll let you hear Lincoln Riley discussing Bear Alexander, which was about 24 hours before he announced that he was going to redshirt and hit the portal at the end of the season. You also need to know about train this time of year. Weather's going to change. Weather's going to be different. You got some weather coming in here later today. Your HVAC system, one of your largest investments this time of year, constantly being pushed to the extreme. You can trust a Train home comfort system to give you reliability and peace of mind day in, day out for years to come. Visit Train.com to find a comfort specialist near you. And remember, it's hard to stop a train. Back with more on redshirting voluntarily while starting/playing next on Mac and Cube in the morning. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. We apparently now are part of the establishment.
Yep.
What do they call McMahon's whole thing?
The corporation?
Yeah. I was going to tell you to play McMahon's music instead of the corporation. That would be the establishment music. No chance.
So we were what Homie D Clown was always talking about.
That's it.
We are now Mr. Charlie.
Yep.
I've always
Seabass
felt
Jimmy
like
tweeting in at Mac and Cube. You guys are part of the establishment now. You get paid to talk. This kid has a chance to secure his future, and you guys think he should be happy he gets to play, even if it meant he's injured and never walks right again. Is that Bear Alexander we're talking about? I mean, I think he even has said he's not injured. Like he wants to play somewhere else and have a year left.
So he wants to play risking chance of injury and not being able to walk right. Okay.
I don't understand.
I have a leg length discrepancy due to 5 surgeries on one knee. Does that give me the ability to reference this situation?
Yeah.
Nope. You're in the establishment.
Yeah, we're in the establishment.
No chance.
We didn't play. We don't know what we're talking about. And if $100,000 secures your future, then I'd like to know where you're living and what the cost of living is, because I think that that's an amazing, amazing thing that guys can now earn money. Cole and I played for free.
Speak for yourself.
Oh, you're right. We did get scholarship and stipend checks. I got $1,400 a month.
Thanks to David Lawley, most of my Bottega tabs were taken care of.
That's clutch.
So it was free.
Back then, that was, I mean, been about the equivalent to what Sluka got per month.
I'm glad that you got free food at Bottega, because I have never gotten free food there.
No food involved. It was consumption back then.
Yes, I will admit there were free beers.
And Brian Trawick tweets in at Mac and Cube, the show that supports exploitation. Touch some grass. Come back to reality. No chance.
Exploitation. Let's you know what? I bet you UNLV loses money if we look at their athletic department. Should we look at that?
Does that include donations? No, that includes like actual revenue. I would say, yeah, I'd say they're in the red.
Yeah, I think so. I'm assuming they are.
At an operating loss?
I'm going to guess that they are, yeah.
Okay, this is Southern California head football coach Lincoln Riley discussing defensive tackle Bear Alexander.
He played over a third of the game, so I mean, people want to act like the guy's not playing steps. He's doing a good job for us out here. He's getting better. There's no story there. I mean, I know you guys are looking for one. Like, there's no story there. The guy's out here working hard. He's improving. He's in a new system with a new coach. He's getting better. I think he's going to continue to get better. It should be hard to play D-line at USC. Like, it ought to be kind of hard. Like, if it's not, it wasn't hard last year, and that's why we weren't very good up there. You know what? We're pretty decent up there, and it's hard, and the margins are thin. So sometimes it's not what somebody's not doing. It's competitive, and there's tough decisions to make every week. But if you see guys out on the field, then we are excited about what they're doing on the practice field and believe that they give us a chance to win. Go look at the last snap of the game, see who's on the field. And so there's no story there. Guy's getting better. He needs to keep improving, and I'm confident that he will with the coaching that he has and the room that we have in there.
More annoying during an interview, keyboard warrior or jackhammer guy?
Jackhammer guys, definitely.
Because I feel like that's few and far between.
Were we standing on the platform that was being jackhammered?
I think it was over in Vanderbilt because they were doing the construction there. I assume that's what was happening.
That was loud. But my thing is, as a D lineman in that style of game, 58 snaps, how many snaps can you really anchor down? I don't know. I never played D line. I feel like 21 snaps is probably about what you'd want to play in a game like that.
It's a lot of effort.
Dude, those are hard reps.
And you're getting back blocks and stuff too. Like, you got to try to fight across people's face. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's not like you're playing a team that's like tempo, drop back, air raid, like where you get to rush the passer 62 times. Like, you're anchoring and absorbing double teams. Gosh, that's like squatting 700 pounds.
Holding it halfway down.
Yeah.
That's brutal. I mean, what would you say was about 60% of their passing game? in said game.
In that game?
Correct.
Like RPO extended
Or
handoff?
screens.
Yeah.
I mean, then they're making you run out to the perimeter.
You got to run
when you're not having
outside.
to do that. So, yeah. Unfortunately for Lincoln, it is a story because a day later, Bear Alexander announces that he's going to redshirt for the remainder of the season and hit the transfer portal. Once again, not rare, not unique. This is happening everywhere. It's just now we're seeing it with a couple of guys being okay, just saying, we're good with it. We don't care. We'll put it out there. This is what we're doing. 2 years ago, nobody wanted anybody to know they were doing this. And guys would go to the coach and say, we will help you in practice. We'll run scout team. We'll behave, but do not put me in a game anymore. Actually, a couple coaches told me the kid said, will not go into game anymore. And was there not a backup quarterback that apparently told Lane Kiffin this?
I believe so.
I will not go in game.
He doesn't play there anymore. I think he starts for a team that plays on the road this week against a ranked opponent.
By the way, too big of an underdog in that game, in my opinion. But y'all told me Illinois was going to get smoked last week, didn't you?
Who?
Everybody else in here.
I don't think so.
Who was the only one that picked Illinois in that game Friday?
You can say that we picked them to win. Doesn't mean we picked them to smoke. I took points.
If I'm not mistaken, the exact quote was Greg said, Rayola will have 450 and 7 touchdowns passing.
No, 550 and 8.
Yeah, that feels right. Yeah.
So this is not new. I do think it's interesting now that we're getting to a point where just put it out there forward facing, don't care.
Well, the reason why I look at Bear Alexander and the tweet goes out or whatnot, and he sends free 9-0 tweet. And I mean, everyone underneath's like, yeah, you got to get yours, bro. like supporting the decision to basically redshirt. I don't know, man. I've never understood it. I've been a part of a team. I think people that tweeted the show, I mean, it's like, hey, I understand like in professional settings, like people are going to put their individual needs and their individual preferences above all else. But maybe that's what's wrong. Maybe that's the problem.
Bear Alexander, 3 tackles, 1 assist, 1 quarterback hurry this season.
And I thought he played okay last week. Like he ducked some blocks for sure, but like I don't think he's a good player.
He can play.
I mean, he's a good player. So I think he's got talent.
Where you're going is he has a singular style he would like to play.
Yes, and the style they played last year where they gap penetrate, it seems to be the style that he wants to play in, which is fine. That's fine. And they are not going to do that now at SC. You're going to have to 2-gap. You're going to have to eat blocks. You're going to have to eat space. You're going to have to do some things that are unfun, and you're not going to fill up the stat sheet. I mean, guess what? That leads to better defense. But, yeah, you're not going to necessarily get the attention that you would get by creating a lot of TFLs and a lot of problems.
It's also not near as fun. And by the way, if you're a USC fan, this should make you feel pretty good about where things are headed, because last year and some of this year we've said they love doing the fun stuff. Don't like doing the hard stuff.
Yep.
Well, now they're expecting you to do a lot more of the hard stuff, which in the long run will be better for your football team because you're not opening things up at certain points in time for the offense to have freebies, even though it may cause some confusion and disruption.
I'm super bullish on SC based on like what I saw last week, because they're not there yet from a personnel standpoint. Like I disagree with Lincoln there, but I think if they can continue to implement this style defensively, like they're going to have a solid group here pretty soon. Very solid. Like, are you not like super impressed with how far they've come in 1 year?
They've taken a big step.
They have. No, I mean, they still have things to iron out. They're not where they need to be, but they are much better. So to be honest with you, given who recruited Bear Alexander, he went from Georgia, where you got to anchor. You got to anchor down. That's not very fun. Oh, I'll get to go.
That was Nashville.
Huh?
I thought you anchored down in Nashville.
I get it. Yeah, it makes sense. Yes, I like it. But
how when you lose to the Georgia State like that? No, it's taken away.
They anchored down in Como. Yeah. But it made sense. Like he went to SC. They wanted to shoot gaps. They wanted to kind of did a lot of movement stuff. You get to fly out. You get to create a lot of tackles for loss. You get to create a lot of havoc. Yeah, you get gashed in the run game. Who cares? That doesn't go on my stat sheet. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
My stat sheet.
it doesn't. Like, no one got me not accounting for the B gap. I don't see it in the box score, but hey, I got 3 tackles for loss and a sack.
Indecisiveness feels like it might be a little bit of the issue also. Just to be totally fair there.
With Bear?
Yeah.
Just doesn't know what he wants.
Yeah, well, just, if you took a look at the timeline, you would see 2018 Terrell High School in Texas, 2019 Skyline High School in Texas, 2020 Denton High School in Texas, 2021 IMG Academy in Florida, Georgia, USC, and then also you had the committed, not committed, and then in the portal, out of the portal at USC. So it's been a bit bumpy, wavy, roller coastery.
I feel like that's really not that many places to play. 7 in 8 years. He got 2 in at SC.
Maybe some people would say he's versed in multiple systems.
System versatility.
Understands the verbiage.
It's a bummer because he's a good player.
He's a really good player.
He's really good.
He was the one guy that was different on the defense last year. Like the one guy that looked like he should be playing against the Oregons and the Washingtons. There wasn't a lot of other guys that looked like that.
He's a very good player. So I really like that kid a lot. I hate that he's doing this because I do think SC's got a chance to make the playoff. I really do. I think they're that good. Hate that he's doing it, but I do think he's a good player. So here's an example, Matthew Sluka. Yeah, you can have him. I don't know if I want him necessarily. But if I'm a coach at another Power 5 school, yeah, I might kick the tires on Bear Alexander. Like there's that whole talent. There's that whole like talent versus pain in the butt measure. And he's worth the dice roll, in my opinion.
I just envision pass rush drills later this year in practice when he's still out there and like he beat somebody and he's like, "Got you, dog." And you're just like, "Yeah, but you won't be getting anybody in a game."
Is that what you would say to him?
I don't know.
He would,
at least
yes.
not play.
That's what he would, yes.
Sorry, Bear, I'm tired from the game this week.
I guarantee you there'll be some fresh legs being thrown at him a little bit.
No doubt.
All right, back with more Mac and Q right after this. Welcome back into the establishment. Thursday, September 26th. Happy birthday, Christy Cubelic. 7:36 a.m. right here on Jocks 94.5. Quickly, just go around. Your head coach of college football team, player who is in rotation, maybe core special teams guy, getting 20, 30 snaps a game as a receiver who rotates in and out, D lineman rotates in and out, linebacker in a certain package, but also on all your coverage teams, return teams, comes to you, says, taking my red shirt, don't want to play anymore. I will not go in another game. Greg, how do you handle that?
Thank you for all you've done. Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Damian?
Yeah, appreciate your time. Hopefully, your family's everybody doing okay, but we'll see you next time.
John?
Do you want to remain on the team to where you can practice and do all of that? Because if he says yes, then get the hell out of here. If he says no, then all right, I'll let you use the facility like Beamer did. If he wants to say, I'm out of here, but I still want to use everything,
that's a Jedi.
GTFO.
That's a Jedi mind trick there.
It really is.
Yeah.
Just thought of this also. If said person did say, I'll stay in practice, could you not make that? Like Bear Alexander is just like the double team guy in practice every day.
Oh gosh, you get to do half line run. That's all you get to do.
Like, hey Bear, we need an extra corner for 7-on-7. Get out there.
Give a look.
You're running down on kickoff.
You could take special teams, kick return, kick cover. Bear, punt cover, you gunner. Get out here, 90.
And the guys that don't dress, hey, you guys got extra weights Friday morning, 5A.
Oh, boy. I mean, you could have some fun with that if you wanted to, if you felt like you needed to. Take that just a little bit further. But
what do you do if he doesn't show up for practice?
Well, this is why I told you guys that Sam Pittman shared with us. You want guys to transfer now because you can't kick them off the team. There has to be like a school rule or team rule violation to kick a guy off the team. It can't be because he had a bad attitude or didn't practice. Like literally, you can't kick a guy off the team for not practicing. You can't do it. They'll just go to the dorm and live and be on scholarship. And now that might disqualify them from whatever they have worked out with the collective. But let's not pretend like scholarship check is not still nice little amount of money. Stipend, nice little amount of money.
Great.
So you're still
cost of attendance,
going to your classes, getting that. And so that's what some guys do. They just sit there because they know that that's what it's going to be. Similar to why a lot of guys
how hard
would
it'd be to get back in shape.
Oof. Especially on your own.
Oh.
At that age, I would not be good at that.
Brutal.
Just go ahead and admit that. It would not be my strength.
I would have been good at it, but I would have hated it.
I mean, I hated getting in shape the first time.
Right.
Well, I would have really
staying in it.
I remember going home in May and having to run my 110s, so that when I got back, we ran our 16 110s. It wasn't a beast, and I was beat by myself. And golly, the whole time I'm just. This is stupid. This is such a dumb. This is so dumb.
But you're always nervous too. That even though you're timing yourself, you're like, that's not going to
be correct. Right? Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's going to be hotter that day. We do our test.
Yeah, this is stupid. Why do we do this? This is such a dumb. I've never understood. Who runs 110 in a football game? It's stupid.
Receivers.
Do you think that was your that was your sort of MJ moment? And I didn't appreciate that. You're trying to get yourself mad to be able to get through it.
Yeah, maybe that was it. I always thought in percentages. This is the math nerd in me.
Go ahead.
We had to run 16 110, so I'd be like, all right, so I get the first one done, down and back. All right, cool, 1/8 there. I'm 12% there.
Okay.
12%.
Yeah,
13 rounds up.
It's true.
By the way,
I always thought that way. All right, quarter of the way there.
Here's where that would have worked against me. This has been really bad for me. So if we would have had especially a higher number of reps, let's say we run half gassers, 16 half gassers and been 4, I'd be 38% down. Greg would have been next to me that's only 9%. Shut up. You're messing with my brain. So I've been telling myself we're almost there. We're really not almost there.
No, long way to go, Parts.
Would not have been able to, that wouldn't have computed with me very well. It wouldn't have happened. So, but hey.
Made it go by faster for me. I don't know why. But I think
I tried to do what you're talking about with effort, by the way, because you had to gear your effort, because if you go out there and blow out the first one, you're done. And I've told you we ran fifths after practice and they were timed, so I can always remember it would be 80% around the first cone. So you get out in front and then you kind of glide around the second cone and halfway back to the opposite 50, And then you see where you are. And you had landmarks in your brains, like 33 seconds you needed to be somewhere, 40 seconds you needed to be somewhere. And you knew you had, because you cruise around that second cone because you knew if I need to turn it on again, I got to have something left.
Right.
There's got to be a little left in the tank that if I'm behind, I got to be able to pull through and be able to finish it. So it was the guys that gave you the 40% through the first cone that were always in trouble. Because then you have to go up to 60 the rest of the way to make it, or 70. And that's when you start getting to that third cone and you're like, uh-oh, he's not going to make it.
I don't know. The conditioning tests for us just were never that difficult. It was always more bark than bite. Like, oh gosh, this is gonna be hard. And then everybody passed, and it was like, all right. I think we had one guy fail ever.
I don't think that means it wasn't hard though.
Yeah, but I think you can psych yourself out faster than your body's gonna give. Like, I think
That's probably fair.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it really was never as bad as you thought it was going to be, though. Like, all right, they say, all right, hey, we got to run curves today. Hey, we got stadiums today. Like, you're like, oh gosh, I'm gonna be throwing up. This is gonna be terrible. And then you do it, it's like, oh my gosh, that wasn't that bad. You know what I mean? Like, was that the same way for y'all?
Just a little bit, yeah, definitely.
Like, it always
Especially
felt, they always thought it was going to be worse than it actually was.
Well, especially the actual test, because we did like 100-yard shuttles. I think it was like 300-yard shuttles.
Right.
And we got up to doing like 5 and then a couple 100-yard shuttles on top of that. So if you can do those, even though the time's a little bit lower,
right?
How are you not going to make that?
I don't know.
Now, we did it at 1 o'clock, and I guarantee I'm 100% convinced that they watered the field down first. So, like, the steam, you could literally see it coming up off the field. You're like, okay, so breathing's going to be a problem. Go ahead and mark that off.
Yep.
But yes, I do agree with you that mentally it was probably just as big of a task as it was physically.
No doubt.
You just told yourself that it couldn't be done. And you're like, man, I'm 5 seconds early. I better slow down next time.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, as a receiver, we're like the pace car. So, like, they're judging everything about how fast the receiver gets it done. So, probably about rep 11 or 12, they're not as good as it was in 1 and 2. So, they're like, oh, the receivers, y'all lacking. It's like, no.
We're just fast.
We're just fast.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Those are the days.
Those
Maybe
were
that's
the
why
days.
they're hitting the red shirt thing. They don't want to do that again.
Yeah, I don't know. Back to the redshirt thing. I know we kind of got off track, but
I'm telling you, I think the Proctor philosophy is going to catch on.
what is that one?
Transfer one place in spring, don't go through their spring, transfer back to place after their spring's over. Be
Not
like,
a bad
no
play."
spring.
It's not a bad
And they're,
play.
glad, and they're happy to have you back.
Yeah.
Y'all know,
Not a bad
I
play.
was just missing springs, right?
Yeah.
I didn't dislike y'all.
No.
I didn't even need more NIL. I just didn't want to go through
And
spring.
I was trying to twist a knife on Iowa. I just wanted to get them busted for tampering and then come back.
Had to make sure old girl wasn't the one.
I wanted to see Caitlin Clark for free.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't miss Iowa women's hoops that spring.
Oh,
Wanna
no.
pay what it
No.
was.
Just want to be in Iowa for beef festival days. What's it called?
Fest.
Beef days?
Yeah, where they throw the hay bales.
Salon days.
Yeah.
Guys, I couldn't miss salon beef days. So I had to have a place for that. So yeah, we had to make it go.
Yeah.
Gusty Gouls can make it go for you if you're looking for a new home. He has served more than 3,000 home buyers and sellers in the greater Birmingham area since 2012. Gusty Gouls Group, recognized both nationally and locally as Greater Birmingham, Alabama's #1 team in homes sold. Most agents, they start marketing after you list with them, not Gusty. He's been doing it. Over 835-star Google reviews. Google Gusty Gouls Group, and you can see where they are today. Or go to GustyGoulsGroup.com, call 205-542-1996, and start packing. All right, so we've got Matt Stenson coming up on the show later today. The coach, Wimp Sanderson, apparently he's excited about coming on today.
Yeah, he's wound up.
What is he saying about it?
I think this NIL thing and the red shirt's kind of grinding his gears a little bit.
Oh, please. We're getting close to the postseason of baseball. That's what he's all
That's it
about.
too.
Okay. So Dusty Dvorak at 8, Matt Stinchcomb at 8:30, and we'll talk to them about obviously some important games coming up this weekend with Bama, Georgia, Auburn, Oklahoma, and have a lot of conversation on that. Aaron Murray's going to be with us tomorrow to talk Alabama, Georgia, as well as Stanford Steve. So when we come back, we'll get to today's top 3 right after this on Mac and Cube in the morning. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning, Thursday, September 26, 7:49 a.m. right here on Jocks 94.5. Orioles take down the Yankees 9-7 yesterday. Dodgers take out the Padres 4-3. O's Yankees 6:05 tonight. Padres at Dodgers 9-10.
Dodgers.
Did I say Dodgers?
Yeah, I like that though.
Nice.
Heck yeah.
Nice.
You get the Dodgers game at 9:10 tonight.
Are they playing the Rays or the Padres or the Dodgers?
The Rays? I think they will play tonight.
That's a menage a trois that everyone can enjoy. Dodgers,
Easy.
Padres.
And you thought that was 2.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
See?
There you go.
There we go.
I didn't want to go down that sicko route, but yeah.
Okay. Braves postponed
Okay.
as of yesterday as well. They will get Kansas City over the weekend and then make up those games against the Mets on Monday that they missed. We get to our top 3 at this time. Each and every day can be sports, sometimes not. Damien, what's on tap for our top 3 today?
Well, as we know, every September 26th is National Key Lime Pie Day. So
Don't know.
hopefully everybody
Again?
enjoys.
Didn't we just have that?
I feel like we did.
I feel like we just had that.
We did.
Yep.
Mm.
Yep.
What day was
Because
it?
you said you didn't like it,
What day
Damien.
was it?
It was like September 10th.
It was earlier this month.
It was not a year ago.
Yeah, exactly.
It's actually it's Johnny Appleseed Day
It's
too.
not a year
I
ago.
don't even know what that means. What
Okay.
does Johnny Appleseed Day mean? Like, what
Couldn't
does
tell.
that even represent?
Shout out to that boy.
It is
Johnny.
Mom's birthday, so happy birthday again, Mom.
Happy birthday,
that-
Mom.
that's all.
I honestly don't remember what Johnny Appleseed did. Remind me. I feel like they were.
Cut down the apple tree?
That's what I figured. I
Isn't
thought
that what
maybe it was
Honest
a-
Abe did? Didn't Abraham Lincoln have something to do with like an apple tree?
He did a lot of things.
I mean, Washington chopped a cherry tree.
Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
Johnny Appleseed was born Jonathan Chapman on this day, 1774.
There we go.
American pioneer, nurseryman, who introduced trees grown with apple seeds as opposed to trees grown with grafting to large parts of Pennsylvania, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, and Ontario, as well as the northern counties of West Virginia. Became an American legend while still alive due to his kind, generous ways, his leadership in conservation, and the symbolic importance that he attributed to apples. He was also a missionary for the new church, inspiration for many museums and historical sites, such as the Johnny Appleseed Museum in Urbana, Ohio.
Nice.
Okay.
I have not seen the tape on that one.
Nope.
He's a good guy.
Question. Johnny Appleseed, part of the establishment?
100%.
Told y'all.
Oh,
He liked apples.
Yep. You like apples.
Hey, Cole. Hey, how about this? Speaking of offensive linemen, it's National Pancake Day, big dog.
Let's go.
You here for it?
We had that one
Absolutely.
recently too.
No, we didn't.
Who cares
Those
if we did?
actual
It's
waffles.
pancakes.
Love National Pancake
That's
Day.
allowed.
Probably won't have any, but love them.
But no, our top 3 is going to come to the gridiron. Of course, it's what Gregory said. It could be Separation Saturday. So what
Once
teams
again.
are on upset alert this weekend?
I feel like we had this question yesterday.
No, we didn't.
Same time we had key lime pie day. Yeah.
Maybe
It's National
a
Key
week-
Lime
a
Pie
week
Day.
ago.
Who are the top 3 upset alert teams?
I
think we
did
nailed it last week, by the
last
way.
week?
Didn't we do good last week? I don't remember who we picked BYU.
BYU.
Yeah.
That was a hammer.
Was Michigan an upset, technically?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like we said that one. Upset alert, I will say, is NC State favored?
Yes.
Northern Illinois, be careful with them.
Don't like it.
That one could be a problem. Is Ole Miss on upset alert as a 17.5-point favorite at home at 11 a.m. on ABC? Yes
I
or
think
no?
Kentucky's good.
I think they can keep it within the number. I wouldn't say upset.
Don't worry about the upset.
Not
Is
the upset.
Oklahoma on upset alert against Auburn?
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, they're technically favored, but they're going into the hardest place to play on earth.
Wow.
It's so hard that they're going to be 2-3 in defeat this weekend at home.
I'll throw one at you. And I realize the record looks bad. As a 14-point favorite, I'll just say be careful going to Houston, Iowa State.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Because if they get that offense going, they can move the ball a little bit. So
Okay.
Do we
good,
put
good defensive line.
we put UCF on upset alert against Colorado?
I'm not going to say it couldn't happen.
Wow.
I don't know.
Utah
about
on
that one.
upset alert against Arizona.
Yes.
So in other words, Damien, everyone.
See.
Oh,
Everybody.
it's Joe Moore watch list. Okay.
Is Georgia on upset alert against Alabama?
No, they cruise.
Yes.
He said no.
Nah.
Is LSU on upset alert against South Alabama?
They
Is,
can make
Tech-
it interesting.
is Texas Tech on upset alert against Cincinnati?
Yes. And Penn State should be on upset alert as a 18-point favorite at home against Illinois.
You're not wrong
Hey,
about
don't
that.
laugh at it now.
Yeah.
Stop.
Luke Altmaier?
Be careful.
Is BYU on upset alert against Baylor?
No.
I can't-
Baylor's favored.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, the wrong
Yeah,
team's
they,
favorite.
the wrong team is favored in that one.
Yes.
Can South Alabama get LSU?
They can make it interesting.
Wouldn't Baylor be on upset alert then?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think they
What
can
does
get
Vegas
them, but they
really-
can keep it close. South Alabama's offense is going to move the ball.
What about ULA Mo against Troy?
That's what they call them?
ULA Mo.
No.
No go?
No.
I got you one. Boise needs to be on upset alert versus Washington State.
Washington State's
That's
a
fair.
good football team.
That's a good one.
Is Boise favored?
Apple Cup
Yeah.
7.5.
champions.
Oh.
Heavily,
yeah.
yeah.
Down to
About that.
7.
Apple Cup champion. Oh, yeah. Shout out Will Rogers.
We all
Clown
had Washington State 4-0 right here at the end of September, right?
Running the pack, too. Absolutely.
I asked this as a legitimate
Still the
question.
Pac-12, Damian. They haven't changed the logo.
What, do they have a championship game at the end of the year? The Pac-12.
I think so.
I don't know if they have a championship game, but they definitely play each
Why
other.
not?
Hey.
Well, no, they play each other, but I asked that because if they're 12-0 and a conference champion,
Yeah, they play each other on November 23rd. Then they play Wyoming the next week.
but I don't know if that's their actual conference. I mean, either way, I guess they'd submit a conference champion. Because if they're 12-0 at the end of the year,
What
do
about,
you know,
what
man?
about
What do they get in as if they're 12-0 and in the playoff?
if they submitting as a conference
An
champion, it
automatic
still
bid?
exists.
How about Liberty on the road at App State?
I'm not feeling great about App right now.
App's not good. App bad ball. What about Indiana against Maryland? Also known as
What a-
Merlin.
What about it?
Indiana's a 7-point favorite, trying to get to 5-0. The Fighting Signettis.
Is Maryland favored?
No, Indiana is.
Oh.
I think they're good. No upset alert for me on that one.
Louisville, Notre Dame?
Duke, North Carolina's this weekend. You excited for that one?
Dante Calabria,
Isn't Duke 4-0?
Cherokee
Duke's 4-0.
Parks,
And UNC gave up 70.
Wojciechowski. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Dusty Dvorak wants to formulate some sort of a wager on the air for this Auburn-Oklahoma game this weekend. Greg, you seemed a little bit more optimistic about this game than I kind of thought you would a little bit earlier.
With Auburn?
In favor of Auburn, correct.
Yeah, because they're going to play the right guy at quarterback. So I'm optimistic about them actually having a chance.
Okay.
Which is more than they had last week.
Football season has officially begun, which means you better be stocked up on Dale's seasoning. In just 30 minutes, this ultimate grilling marinade will infuse your meats and veggies with unbeatable flavor, making every bite a game changer. Whether you're grilling steaks, burgers, or mixing into your favorite game day dips, Dale's versatility will elevate your tailgate spread from bland to bold. Don't settle for boring. Make Dale's seasoning your grilling MVP. Damien, do you need these right here?
Receipts.
Yeah, you need your receipts on the Play Hank Brown right now crowd. The people who weren't for that you said you were going to call us all out.
I never once said it.
I feel like you did.
Might have heard it.
I feel like you said you had receipts for everybody who said Peyton Thorne.
It was mostly
Might
just
have
the
heard it.
actual benching of Peyton Thorne.
Might have heard it.
I just said give the brother a chance. They both throw 4 picks, so I guess you kind of just live and die with the results of whatever it is.
Might have heard it.
It doesn't feel like there's a massive difference in either, but we will see if
Might have heard it.
We haven't gotten an official announcement, correct?
That is true. The guy goes through practice.
Anybody with their eyes can tell you that Peyton Thorne gives you the best chance. So,
what if Hank Brown?
Which is why Hank Brown started the last 2, right?
If Hank Brown starts,
it is possible that they do issue a true-false test and a spelling bee test on Thursday to decide who's going to start. Spell Appleseed.
I had a good one there, and I'm glad I didn't say it.
I'm glad you resisted.
Let's just go to the Buyers Right hotline. Welcome in Dusty Dvorak. Who has the advantage at quarterback in Auburn, Alabama this weekend, Dusty?
Good morning, boys.
Morning.
How we doing?
We're great.
I hope we're doing awesome. I was listening to you guys there. So I've got Arkansas A&M. So Sunday, I got my matchup, and I watched that Arkansas-Auburn game. I totally agree with Greg said. I don't see how this isn't Peyton Thorne. I thought Peyton Thorne actually played pretty well. Guys, that one pick that he had, it's hard for me to put that on him. I mean, he's on the receiver's hands. Hank Brown he looked a little bit lost. Some of that zone coverage, I don't think he was seeing defenders. Arkansas was doing a really good job reading his eyes. And I think it's pretty clear running this offense, Peyton Thorne, who had his issues, obviously, with the turnovers against Cal. I think he clearly, from his running to even his passing, gives you the better option. And with his experience, I think you'd have to give the lean in just the quarterback spot to fully answer your question, Cole, to Auburn, right? I mean,
wow.
I think. I mean, and look, I'm excited about Michael Hawkins. He's played a half of football.
It's fair.
And this will be his first time. I've never been in Jordan-Hare. But everyone tells me it's legendary. And it's right there at the very top of the absolute best game day environments in college football. And I know that they've already lost 2 at home, but I got to imagine with the Sooners coming to town, that place is going to be lit. It's going to be rocking, and they're going to have that aspect on their side too. And look, we talked about this last week. It's not just the quarterback spot that Oklahoma is ailing. I mean, they've struggled. I mean, I worry a little bit for them just protection-wise. I mean, I think watching Auburn on tape, 35 and 15, I mean, they can go a little bit now. I think 9 is a really good blitzing linebacker, and I think they're going to throw some different stuff at Oklahoma and make it tough on that offensive line and really try to put some heat on a freshman quarterback making his first start in college football, let alone first SEC start, and then being on the road. So I do like some stuff about Michael Hawkins, but going into this game, boys, I don't see how you wouldn't give at least a lean to Peyton Thorne if indeed he is the starter, which I think we all agree he will be.
Well, the thing about Peyton Thorne is I think Peyton Thorne gives you a little bit of a mobile element, and I just don't think Hank Brown gives you that. And I don't think this offensive line's good enough to block him. So I guess outside of that, what more could you ask for? Looking at Oklahoma's defensive performance last week, it was pretty remarkable. It seems like that's a group that's going to show up every week, regardless of the opponent. But how many games in the SEC do you think they can win with defense alone?
It's a great question. the problem, I mean, first of all, they balled out on Saturday. It was
It's
like
amazing.
bittersweet, guys. It's bittersweet. It's like we've been starving for that kind of defense in Norman for a while. And then unfortunately, it was on the other side of the ball. So you play that level of defense and you do it in a losing effort. So that was unfortunate, but man, that group is really good. The issue, like, when you play Texas and you're going to have to play Ole Miss, and I think to a degree even Alabama, you could play really good defense like you did at Tennessee, and those offenses are still going to, have the opportunity, I think, to score, 24, 27, 30? You can play really good defense, I think, on Texas and Ole Miss, and, still have to find yourself finding a way to score points to get a victory. And so what's the number of games they can win on defense alone? I don't think it's many. But I think that if their offense can get just a little bit better each week, you can see some improvement. And they can just get out of their own way, right? And not be the problem. Maybe they're not the solution. Just don't be the problem. I think that you can be a defensive-led, defensive-minded team that's going to get stops, create takeaways, and help lead you to victories. But in order for Oklahoma to be able to really win some games with that schedule they have in front of them, they can't do it on defense alone. They're going to have to see improvement from that offensive side. And, most importantly, they're going to have to find a way not to turn the ball over 3 times where they did in that first half against Tennessee.
Dusty Dvorak of ESPN joining us on the Buyers Right Hotline here on SiriusXM weekday mornings as well. So I want to go back to the quarterback situation that you referenced a moment ago. And I have said for the last couple of weeks, Oklahoma has a Jackson Arnold problem. And if it was quick game, he was great. He could get it out on time. It was accurate, velocity where it needed to be. As soon as you got past that step, it felt like things began to crumble. However, and I just want your opinion on the overall situation. Do you think it had to happen? Was it the right move? What do you do moving forward? Because, Dusty, I do think because of the hype and him going in early for that spring game, he started 5 games. We forget that part of this. He's still a very young player, both in age and tenure. Was this the right move at the right time? And how would you handle it moving forward?
Had to happen. Guys, he was unplayable in the first half against Tennessee. Right? I mean, so much of this offense, as you both well know, I'm not telling you, it's more for your listeners, is you've got to be able to assess pre and post snap whether you're going to give, you're going to throw, and the reads that come off that. And I mean, that final throw when he throws the screen out to the receiver, and he throws it in the dirt and behind him. That's a give all day, boys. That's 7-on-7.
Yeah.
That's the way you draw it up on the chalkboard. I mean, that ball should have never been thrown. And I thought that was just a, kind of a symbolic of what you've seen if you're watching the tape for several weeks. He had completely lost confidence. I think confidence in what he was seeing, confidence in when he was throwing the football. I mean, and here's the issue. This has been compounding. You can go back to the Temple game and you start to see it. I really saw it watching the tape in your game against Houston, Cole.
Yeah.
Like just some of the plays and the indecisiveness and then just the decision making. And I thought if he would have struggled coming out against Tulane, that there was a chance. But, he had a pretty good start to the game. He ran it well. They got off to a good lead. And then I think once he throws that bad pick 6 late, I think by that point it was too late. So as I was watching that game against Tennessee, I really thought right in that moment, like you need to sit him down because it felt like things weren't getting better; they're only getting worse. And when they took that shot at him over on the side, I mean, I thought a picture's worth 1,000 words. I thought it told the real story. He was rattled, his confidence is shot, and the other aspect of this. And this isn't after the fact. This is real. And no different than you guys. You guys probably get a chance to go to your alma maters and check out spring ball and some fall camp. Living here in Norman, I've had a chance to go to spring practice, had a chance to go to fall camp. Michael Hawkins has been wowing and impressing since spring ball day 1. I played with his dad Mike Sr. At Oklahoma when he was there as a cornerback, and I actually went to a spring practice and I watched practice with his dad, with Michael, and I was blown away just at the maturity, the way the ball was jumping out of his hands. He's clearly a very explosive athlete, but I did not realize he was that far along as a passer, and just, you know, the maturity. And so you kind of saw it there. And then fall camp, I'd gone to a scrimmage, and Mike actually outplayed Jackson in the scrimmage I was at. Now, neither quarterback played great, but I remember walking away from that scrimmage going, man, either their defense is just going to be on a whole nother level, or there's some issues, you know, potentially with this offense. So you kind of saw it, but Michael had more success even that day. So I think that part of what's baked into this is they do think that there's a real upside with Michael Hawkins. So, you know, I think if there was no plan B, I don't know if you make that move, but I think it's majority in what Jackson Arnold hasn't been on the field. And I think that another part of the move that you saw the other day is that there is a belief based off of what they've seen in practice, spring, fall camp, and in scrimmages, as what they believe Michael Hawkins can bring to the table.
It's pretty amazing that it got to this point so quickly, though. Because when you hear Jeff Lebby talk about him, or you hear anyone else that recruited him talk about him, it's like, this guy's can't miss. And yet all of a sudden now he's just so human, it's unbelievable. So did they get it wrong, or was he a different guy last year?
That's a great question, Greg. I don't know what in the heck happened, man. I don't. It's, and I'm not saying that the guy's done and he can't play, but you would know this. You know, I think any player, any athlete, confidence is king, right?
Right.
When you feel good and you're confident, even for big uglies like me and Cole, when we put our hand in the dirt and we get in our sets, we're feeling good. You play good, right? And it's just the way it is. When you know what to do and you're confident. But I think quarterback, as you would know better than a couple of meatheads like us, it's a whole nother level. And somewhere along the way, Greg, and I don't know where, he's lost his confidence. He's lost his stinger. And I really do wonder, going back to the bowl game against Arizona, where I thought he made some incredible throws. He had some mistakes early. There's no doubt. He had a couple of picks. Yeah. But he overcame those, made some incredible plays. And the offseason, so many people spent this time talking about the turnovers. I don't know if he overanalyzed that, if he changed his approach, his mindset. I don't know. I don't want to act like I do. Something happened. Something changed with him between the years. And he's going to have to find a way to get back that confidence. He's going to have to find a way to get back that guy that he was coming out as the number one quarterback in the country, because when he showed up at campus at Oklahoma, he was fearless. He was confident, and like to the point where you're like, ooh. I mean, even going back to last fall camp, you're watching, you're like, ooh, he actually, I mean, dare I say he's a better option than Dylan Gabriel. I mean, that was just kind of the feeling. I think if you really, talk to guys on the staff, you could kind of see that. That guy, I don't know what happened to that guy. And I'm hopeful for his sake and for even Oklahoma's sake, he gets that back, because though I do think Michael Hawkins is the option going forward, guys, you know how college football is. I mean, at some point, and especially if Michael Hawkins keeps helicoptering, trying to make plays, which I appreciate, but get down, young man, you ain't big enough. This league is going to chew you up and spit you out. They're going to need Jackson Arnold back in this season. Like, he's going to have to figure out and rewire. So, I don't know what happened, Greg. I don't know. I do think the kid has got a ton of talent in there, but something between the years has gone haywire, and he's got to figure out how to fix that, because I think confidence is a huge part of what we've seen with somewhere of the unraveling his play on the field.
Dusty Dvorak of ESPN with us on the Buyers Right Hotline. Hear him on the Auburn-Oklahoma game this weekend. He'll be on the call. Do you have plans? Do you need ideas where to go?
No. Cole, you're an excellent broadcaster and a phenomenal radio man. I'm on Arkansas A&M, but
my apologies.
I will be watching with a keen eye on our alma maters. I want to come in banging my chest, and I want to say I'm feeling great. I don't know how either one of us can feel great about this one. No. I think it's one where we're both just like, covering our eyes and hoping it's not, hoping for a win. But I'm going to back my Sooners. I talked that ish last week when I came on your show. So what are we thinking here? I think we do this. I think we, since we're both radio guys, and Greg, feel free to chime in. I was thinking, if my alma mater wins, you have to come on my show and sing Boomer Sooner. If your alma mater wins, I'll come on your show and I'll give the War Eagle hymn. How do we feel about that?
I'm fine with it. I mean, it's Greg's show too, so if you're okay with that, Greg, he'd have to share
Hunter, I'm great with that.
Okay. We'll do that. I'm good with that.
Is there better parameters, McElroy? I mean, you tell me. We've done a lot of bets. I mean, we could do cash, we could do jerseys. But
those aren't as fun.
What do you think, McElroy?
I like that. I think that's good material. I think it'll provide quality content, and I look forward to having you on again next week. That's going to be nice.
Wow.
Because Auburn's winning this weekend. It's a back against the wall, gotta have it situation, and I think Hugh gets it done. I think they pull magic out of a hat. So I look forward to our visit. We have a lot to talk about next week. So I can't wait to hear your impressions when you see them up close of Arkansas and A&M too. Like, I'm really interested in that game. It's gonna be a great game.
Merlin Freeze.
Hey, Marcel Reed's got to start, right?
What's that?
Marcel Reed's got to start. We agree Marcel Reed's got to start, right?
Yes.
I
know he said that's going to be a game time decision the rest of the year, but the offense is, I think it's geared more towards him at its core. So
totally agree.
But that was a weird game last week that they played, and we didn't spend a lot of time talking about that one on the show. I thought the D line was great, second, third level, not so good. Offense great at times, but then terrible at times. It's just weird. I did want to get one more thought from you though, Dusty, because you said you went and studied Arkansas for this week. What did you think of the Auburn defense when you were watching them against Arkansas? We know about the third down letdowns, and obviously, quarterback in Taylor Green that got loose way too many times, but just overall, when you watched it, what were your takeaways of that group?
I liked it, man. I think they're physical outside. I mean, they were locking up Arkansas receivers. Andrew Armstrong was really the only thing. They had that one just kind of chunk play to Satania.
Yep.
But I think, and that's just scramble drill. That's just Taylor Green buying time, chunk it up and throw up a prayer. I thought they were physical. One as a safety, that dude is a dog now. I like him a lot. I thought 35 coming off the edge. I like the way he comes.
He plays hard.
15, he does. 15, I think is a good player. I thought, I'm watching tape, guys. So
it's
sorry.
Fun. We get it.
I don't know all the names, but I thought 9's a good blitzer. I thought that they played well on defense. I really did. I thought prior to that last drive, the last drive's got to really make that Auburn staff a little sick, because they held the run game in check outside of Taylor Green getting to the perimeter some. They held the run game in check for most of the part of the game. But the way they lined up and ran that, I think it was 10 straight runs, boys. I mean, Sam Pittman went, hey, we're going to run this rock. And they had success on that drive to give them that cushion late in that ball game. That was the only part that I thought, I didn't love that from Auburn. But overall, I thought Auburn's defense put them in a position to win the game. Not a whole lot different. Not that it was just this dominating performance like Oklahoma's, and they weren't facing an offense as good as Tennessee's. But I thought you watch that film and you say, Auburn's defense played good enough to win that football game. Unfortunately, the other side of the ball let them down. So I don't know how you felt, Cole. I was pretty impressed with what I saw from the Tigers on that side of the ball on Saturday.
I felt good about it. And Greg brought up Auburn finding some magic this weekend. That drive where Arkansas ran the ball you're referencing, there's a lot of magic from Taylor Green on that drive too. He did a really nice job manipulating the mesh, and I think Bobby did a good job calling it. Some of the window dressing behind it, I think, helped a lot. But that was what they had to have at that point, and they got it. So,
hey, real quick, Bobby Petrino's personnel groupings. I'm going to get real football nerdy here. If you're an offensive or defensive lineman, it's unbelievable. I mean, I don't know if it's as much for Greg. He's not. This isn't like Bobby P spreading you out and throwing all over the yard with mallet. I mean, it's 12 and 22 and some 13 and extra offensive linemen in, tackle over. I mean, did you see that stuff he was doing, Cole? I love
high
it.
formation.
It was good stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I love it. It's
awesome.
great. They embrace the hog. It's like Coach Pittman said. All right, loser will sing fight song on winners show next week. We'll get that done. That is a wager between Dusty Dvorak and myself on Auburn and Oklahoma this weekend, in which we both lack any confidence whatsoever. So it should make it more entertaining. Dusty, we appreciate the time. Great stuff. I guess we'll do it again next week.
Not so fast, my friend. We'll do it, but on my show.
That's what I'm
Enjoy the
saying.
weekend,
We will talk
Yeah,
on
you
the
guys
radio.
will visit. Just a matter
again
of
next
where.
week. Exactly. Yes, that's kind of what I meant there. Is we will be on the radio together
Enjoy
again
the
next
college
week.
football. Enjoy the college football this weekend, boys. We'll see
See
you.
you, bud.
Thanks, Dusty. Great job. Dusty Dvorak joining us on the Buyers Right Hotline for all your insurance, financial, and HR needs. It's Buyers Right Insurance. Dusty brought up something with the Auburn defense, but we haven't really gone into it. He actually didn't mention this. There was one thing about that defensive performance that really stuck out to me, and two teams did it this weekend in the SEC that I did not know were overly capable of being able to do this to the extent that they did. And I want to ask Greg about it. Your HVAC system, one of your largest investments, this time of year constantly being pushed to the extreme. You can trust a Trane home comfort system to give you reliability and peace of mind day in, day out for years to come. Visit Trane.com to find a comfort specialist near you. Remember, it's hard to find a Trane. Two defenses really surprised me with one facet that they were successful with this weekend. Can they continue to do it? Auburn, one of them. Will they need to do it this weekend? We'll discuss it next on Mac and Cube in the morning. Welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning, Thursday, September 26, 8:25 a.m. right here on Jocks 94.5. Listen online, jocksfm.com. Go to YouTube, search Jocks 945, and you can watch us live there every morning.
Bill Smith Buick GMC is the GMC Dealer of the Year. You need to go and check out the largest GMC dealership and Alabama's largest discount with the best service. They are number one in the Southeast. They're number one, according to GMC, across the country. So why would you waste your time spending money, more money, at other places when you can go and spend it? With Bill Smith, you're going to spend less of it, that's for sure. Like a GMC 1500 Sierra SLT 4x4 X31 loaded. $68,000 the list price. You get it for $55,000. That's an amazing deal. You get $12,750 off. That's why 75% of their business repeat customers, because you get better prices at Bill Smith. You're costing yourself money if you shop anywhere else. Take the short drive up to Coleman. You'll be glad you did. You can also shop online, have delivered right to your driveway at BillSmithBuickGMC.com. Bill Smith Buick GMC. We are professional grade.
Two things that happened on defense in the SEC this weekend, Greg, that I did not know. And maybe you will debunk this and you'll say that you don't believe that this was a strong suit as I thought it was for these two teams. And maybe you thought they were more capable of it. And so it didn't surprise you. The biggest surprise for me with the Auburn defense against Arkansas. And let me say this quickly. Because I don't think I said this on the show yet this week. I did say this on my podcast. Props to Trent Dilfer. That game went about exactly the way that he said it was going to go. Because he said Bobby Petrino's offense attacked zone coverage. You know what Auburn didn't do much of? Play zone coverage. You know what Arkansas didn't do a lot of? Complete passes against man coverage. Didn't happen. You know what else Bobby Petrino did? Changed up the read point and the mesh a bunch for his quarterback. Remember Trent said, wish I would have gone back and watched more Lamar film because they're doing more of that kind of stuff. It went... Said they had one guy that could win some of those one-on-ones, and that wasn't the guy that caught the touchdown, but still. And there were tweets quoting the Mac and Cube account, our people who cover Arkansas, talking about how wrong he was. And it went exactly the way he said. So props to you, Coach. Greg, I could not believe how successful the Auburn DBs were in man-to-man coverage. I don't know if I didn't just expect them to be that good.
Yeah.
I don't know if I thought that DJ Durkin would ask him to do it that much in that game, but I thought they were fantastic in man coverage. Is that an area they can thrive the rest of the year? Can that be a strong suit of this team? Was it a one-off against Arkansas? How would you see it?
Well, that was by far their highest man coverage clip of the season. Not sure it's even close. When you look at their numbers, they were in man coverage on more than half the snaps. They were in zone coverage like it was their changeup. It was very, very different. The other thing that we saw more of against Arkansas was pressure. So we saw a little bit more blitz. We saw a little bit more activity up front and a little bit more aggression defensively. Now, I do think subconsciously, yes, do I think that was part of the plan? For sure. But I also think there was probably a little bit of frustration there on that side of the ball. So, hey, our offense is messing around again. Like, let's fire our gun defensively and see if we can't make a play. Seemed like that was some of it as well. But yes, numbers wise, it's 100% man coverage. But I don't think that's a winning recipe against everybody.
Right. The other team, quickly, before we just go further into Auburn's defense, that I was surprised at how well they played man coverage was Tennessee on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean Tennessee will man you up for sure.
And it's not that they didn't give up catches, but when the ball was caught in man coverage, I saw one significant run after the catch for Oklahoma in that game. It was fourth quarter, and it was Petaway. And I think that was like 38 yards after the catch. Our guy Mills up in Charlotte told me that they had 90 after the catch. I don't think there's any way in hell they had 90 yards after the catch. I mean, I would have put it in the 30s.
You had Oklahoma at 90 after the catch?
That's what he said, yes. Our stats guy in Charlotte. But I don't think it was even close to that.
I can tell you.
The one from Petaway was like 38. So if you subtracted that one, you're looking at 60 something, I think. But based on the numbers he gave us, because it might not have been.
Well, Brew
90.
McCoy had the slant early.
No. Arkansas. Oklahoma offense.
Oh,
yards after
Oklahoma
catch.
offense. Okay.
The Tennessee DBs got them to the ground immediately, almost every time they caught the ball.
I was gonna say I thought for sure Tennessee had some yards after catch. I mean, they had two big ones.
That's where what I think is even more valuable. I think people look at man coverage and they say, do you knock the ball down? Like, do you not allow catches? To me, guys are going to get catches. It's, do you get them to the ground immediately? Like Missouri's defense last year, they did that so well, better than anybody else that I watched last year. And that's where I was really impressed with the Tennessee DBs is when they did give up catches, they were almost immediately on the ground. And you win games doing that.
Yeah.
You don't give up explosives.
There were a few, like looking at it, there weren't a lot, but there were, I think 90 is probably about right.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Looking at the plays, like the Petway play late,
38.
a couple of screens early. Petway had another one there, gosh, probably in the third quarter, early fourth, couple there. So I don't know if it would necessarily, like Burks had one that I remember probably went for like another 15 after the catch, but it wasn't a lot. Like you're not wrong. The other thing I would say about man coverage and whatnot, it just makes the window tighter, and college quarterbacks are not accurate enough to consistently pound the window. The problem with man coverage is that if you have a scrambling quarterback, you got problems.
Yes.
So man coverage is the best if you can match up. So against, say, Georgia, yeah, I'll play man. Because, I mean, yeah, can Carson Beck hurt you with your legs? With his legs? No, but he can keep you honest. Against Bama, I wouldn't want to see man coverage, not with Jalen, unless you feel real confident about your spy in the middle of the defense that has a lot of speed. And I didn't think that Tennessee played as much man coverage as you might have think. I think there was some pattern match. I think there was some combo coverage. Like they did a pretty good job of mixing it up, and that's why I think they had Jackson seeing some ghosts.
Yeah.
And then there's a little more man down the stretch because they felt like they had it in check, and Oklahoma's receivers were banged up.
So those two things, can they continue? Matt Stinchcomb on the Alabama-Georgia matchup this weekend. That's next right here on McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. It is 8:35 a.m. Thursday, September 26th on Jocks 94.5. Going to go right to the Buyers Right hotline for former Georgia Bulldog, ESPN Network college football analyst Matt Stinchcomb. Stinch, good to have you on. First visit we've had this football season. How has it treated you so far?
Oh, it's been a great season, man. We actually, caught a couple of good games. They screwed up and gave us games that were actually competitive. So we've been thrilled. Back-to-back trips to Missouri, can't beat that. And an overtime thriller versus the Doors. We've been on cloud nine so far this season. It's been a real kick in the pants.
Hey, I didn't leave that game as concerned about Missouri when I watched it as a lot of folks did. There are a lot of panic buttons out there being smashed. Did your opinion of Missouri, I guess, drift or fade watching that game in person?
It hasn't been, no, not really. Although I've not been super impressed by Missouri either. So maybe that's why. I didn't walk out of there going, oh my gosh, boy, sea change. I just knew Missouri was a fantastic team this year. I think they're a good team. I think their schedule will make them look like at the end of the year they might be one of the best teams in the country. I don't know if that's actually true. They're not playing their best football, but they're not playing bad football. I mean, they did clean up the penalties. I think they only had 3 penalties finally. They have been awful on that side of the ball offensively. But they run the stretch zone about as well as anybody's running it right now. Part of that maybe is a function of competition. There are times when they don't hold up that great up front. So we'll see how it looks when they start facing better competition and deeper defensive fronts. But, the concern more than anything is in tight games, the decision making. The head coach going for it on 4th down at the end of half, and you gift your opponent a field goal attempt that they make. And next thing, you look 2 quarters later, it's a tie game. You're like, what are you doing right there, coach? And even he said it was stupid, and he was right. It was really stupid.
Is there something that would concern you for Missouri? I mean, in kind of the long term, like, is this team flawed, or have they just had a couple of self-inflicted mistakes that have led to closer than expected outcomes?
Yeah, I think that's a lot of it. They kept Boston College in the game.
No doubt.
They've got some problems in the secondary from a eye discipline standpoint. One of my favorite coachisms. The safeties, Marvin, the Burks kid especially. A couple of times I think he's allowed basically 3 explosive touchdowns in the passing game this year, just because, man, that guy, he wants to make the tackle in the run game so badly that it doesn't matter if you run 5 receivers right across his face. By golly, I want to get in that backfield. So he along with others in that secondary, and it's kind of a retooled secondary. They have allowed these explosives that have helped as well. So they extend drives for the opponent, shoot themselves in the foot. You can eliminate that sort of thing, but they got to clean up where their eyes are in the back end, because they're giving up these ridiculous play action plays that shouldn't be hitting. At least make them contested. They're hitting wide open receivers because they're just undisciplined at safety. You can fix that, you think, you hope, although we're, a month into the season, so that maybe is the bye week thing. I don't know what you do. I don't know what the secondary coaches do. It's like you put them like horse blinders on them, like the ones that pull carriages around downtown areas or something. I don't know how you fix that, but they better fix it.
All right. I know that the Georgia medical staff's been trying to fix a couple of defenders that they're hoping are going to play for the Dogs this weekend.
Thanks God for Grady Hospital.
How important are specifically Brinson and Williams to that Georgia defense as far as Georgia finding a way to knock off Alabama this weekend?
I think they're pretty important. And gosh, I hope they weren't at Grady. That's a trauma ward. So hopefully there's no I was thinking maybe these are ligaments and tendons and not like gunshot wounds. But these guys, it sure would come in handy if they could take the field on Saturday. And per our new handy dandy, what is it called? The availability report
that
we have, availability report. Okay. It does appear that the Brinson kid will be back. That'll come in handy. He's a good player, especially inside out. Gives you that pass rush presence. guard to guard, which comes in handy, especially when you're facing a guy like a Milroe who, you watch quarterbacks and where do they gain yards in the scramble game? It's up through the pocket, not out of the pocket. They scramble out to extend the pass play, but not necessarily to pick up scramble yards. But it's up through that pocket that makes it hard to defend. And I think Brinson changes that where you can kind of pierce the pocket and collapse it inside out. That'll come in handy. And then, of course, Michael Williams, when he's healthy, is one of the better defenders in the game. So I think that'll be big. It looks like the Rousseau kid for am I saying that right, for Alabama?
Yes.
Looks like he's going to be playing. There's a chance that, outside of Ratledge, the right guard for Georgia, and Georgia rolls guys inside anyway. You'd think that you're seeing a couple of teams at full force health-wise, but defensively, especially along that front, I think Georgia, they need to look to be dominant right there so that they can try to cap some of these explosive plays that Bama seems to make.
How do you feel about the offensive line so far? I know you referenced Ratledge being out, but Ernest Green, I think, has been, I don't want to call him disappointing, but not what we expected, I suppose, a little inconsistent on the left side. So can the offensive line inconsistencies be fixed, or is there something bigger here?
Yeah, they can, right? I mean, you saw them versus Kentucky, right? Y'all were there, weren't you, Greg?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was some ugly snaps where you're literally going, hey, man, what you looking at right here? I mean, usually the beauty of playing tackle is that there's very little decision-making needed. It's just go on ahead and block that guy about 6 inches from your face. And if you do that, there's a decent chance you did it right. And there were at least 2 snaps in that game where we decided not to do that. And that usually invites conversation. Tell me what we were doing right here when the guy lined up right across from you, was no longer of interest. Let's go on ahead and focus on him and see if we can't block him. Lost inside a couple of times where it's just a gross overset and you're inviting an inside move, which is the worst place you can lose when you've got a quarterback that's not overly mobile. Beck can move, but this is a guy that you don't want to be losing on inside rushes, and inside rushes, incidentally, versus Beck are a green light rush. Meaning, I don't know that I want to win inside versus Milroe because now I don't have anybody to kind of cage him in that pocket. Now he can just escape and roll. But, versus Beck, yeah, there's a chance that you might not have a defender that's working outside as a contained rusher because maybe you recover, maybe you can get home. So I think that inside rush move is a green light. You got to know that. And that happened a couple of times in that game, where you'd like to see that get cleaned up because at right tackle, you probably want to play that Freeling kid more. And the Truss kid who has been at Georgia for a decade now will probably be in there at guard. And you'd like to think that they'd be able to roll him in and out as well. Georgia needs left tackle to play better. They need their perimeter blockers to play much better. So that they can actually sustain some drives and put together a decent offensive effort.
Do you see an adjustment for the Georgia offense, Matt Sincom with us on the Buyers Right Hotline, that would be very beneficial, go a long way? I feel like a little bit more creativity, maybe different options on different plays. A lot of the plays to me feel like they're designed to be directed to a certain individual or have maybe one outcome. But what do you watch the Georgia offense and say to yourself, man, if they could just do a little bit more of this, I think it would go a long way?
Yeah, what I saw more than anything versus Kentucky was, how much call it and run it did we have in this game? Because we're running into some bad looks, literally, where you've got an unaccounted for defender, and it's amazing, guys. I mean, y'all watch a lot of video. We always say film, but there's no film. We don't watch film. We watch video. It's all digital. Y'all watch a lot of that, and it's amazing to me how versus teams that are pretty good, if there's an unblocked defender, golly, he's usually the guy that makes the play. And same is true for you get a bad run fit, and you know what? Sure enough, the ball seems to find that one hole that just was not occupied because you had a bad fit defensively. And versus Kentucky, I saw a lot of this where I'm like, how much autonomy does Beck have? You'd think it would be pretty extensive. I don't know why we're not getting out of this play. I don't know why this play isn't tagged with something to where you get out of it. And some of it was just simple math where you're going, I don't like the numbers. Let's go over here. I don't like the numbers. Let's do this. And I didn't see that, especially in the first half. So even, outside of, I don't know, laser light shows or introducing the inverted veer or something, it would be, how about let's just get into the best play we possibly can. And you'd like to think that your quarterback, who's very highly regarded and has been in a system for 2 years and then in the program for 5, would be able to, steer some of that. I don't know that he was given the authority to do that. And if so, might want to look into doing that. And if he was, then he needs to see the game better, because too often Georgia was running plays that were suboptimal pre-snap.
Matt, great stuff. We appreciate the time. Do you have a selection on this game that you would like to offer up?
A selection meaning like what channel I'll be watching?
Select the winner of the game.
Yeah, I'll take the Dogs. Are you kidding me? It's everybody. Although I saw y'all's read and react show, and gosh, it's a miracle. Georgia might not even show up.
Okay, Georgia. All right, Georgia message board guy. Did you watch it and listen, or did you look at the photograph that said person put out there? Because I made it pretty clear that if I knew that Brinson and Williams were going and they were close to being very healthy, that I would have gone Georgia defense there. I made that clear.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so I think Georgia was able to sneak in at least one advantage on both you and Roman.
Are you taking the Georgia offensive line over Alabama's right now?
They're all 5 stars, Cole.
I will say that's awful selective of you right there to choose one category.
Are you? I mean, and for this game, who are you taking at quarterback?
At its best, I'll take Beck.
And skill, Georgia or Alabama?
Is it just skill, or is it position by position?
How are we categorizing that?
It's skill players, which I was confused with because I thought quarterback was included in that, but we did quarterback and we did skill. So I took Georgia skill.
Y'all did skill, but then you also had quarterback, but
correct.
You still thought quarterback was in skill?
Yeah, that's
that's called a double up.
It is.
You've heard of that in Rubik's Cube.
How does that work?
Absolutely.
I like our receivers, but I also like the slot receiver as well. So we'll break that one out.
I took Georgia. I took Georgia's skill. So
I think Georgia's skill is a fair take. I haven't disagreed with anything yet. Where was the disagreement?
I went McElroy quarterback.
So I think you can make on ceiling. Beck can tear you apart. Sure. I think the problem with Jalen is there are more misses, and that's okay. It's fine to have more misses as long as you can make up for it with running ability. I just think that his running ability makes him different for sure, but Beck's a tough guy not to pick.
My explanation was in a game like this against that kind of a defense, I want a guy that can hurt you when things break down, because they're going to break down. They are.
Yeah, I don't think it's a wrong answer there. I think they're both very good. I think.
Well, apparently Stinch thinks all my answers were wrong.
Quarterback's a toss-up. D-line, where are you going?
We just did defense all over.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
so we just do defense. It's just all over.
The whole defense, yes.
See, like D-line, I'd take Georgia, assuming everyone's healthy. Linebacker should take Bama.
Well, you took Georgia.
I took Georgia defense
because of the D-line.
What about secondary?
That's what I wanted to see. So we got Roman Harper on the show, and it's the secondary in this game that I'm most curious about.
I don't think Georgia's secondary is as good as everybody seems to think they are. It doesn't mean that they're not good. It just everyone seems to think that they're elite. Dalen Everett was a liability last year, and now he's your number one corner. So I think that there are question marks in Georgia's secondary that have yet to be exploited. And maybe this is the week they do it. And maybe this is the week they play great and they no longer become a question mark. But I think there is a question to be had there.
Hey, here's a question for y'all. How would you feel if the Wisconsin and the USF games were inverted for Alabama on the schedule? Same results, same out.
Mainly like the timing of them, you mean? Like we were coming off USF right now.
Off USF. Georgia's coming off Kentucky. Bama's coming off USF.
Some of that has to do with personnel, so I can see where you'd be concerned because you would say, man, we got to have Booker out at tackle. Like, I don't love that. I need him down at guard.
Yeah,
We
Proctor's
got some
out.
tackle
Yeah, all that
situation.
stuff.
Yeah, it would
And I
definitely be
mean,
different.
Georgia would have to all of a sudden have 210-pound defensive linemen that are flying around like like bullets, trying to catch them with your hands. It's like impossible. So I just think that one's a bad matchup for Bama. As far as Kentucky, I think Kentucky matches up well with Georgia. I know last year was an onslaught, but I was not at all surprised by what happened in Lexington when they teed it up a couple weeks ago. That just was not surprising to me whatsoever.
Hey, with the extent to which the offense struggled was surprising to me. The outcome, the tight game, the whole deal. We've seen this before where they're one-score wins or one-possession wins, but that's the way they do it. You're right. I mean, if history is our teacher, Kentucky plays Georgia tough, especially in Lexington. And, that front seven is the Walker kid. When he wants to play, show me one that's better from a versatility standpoint. He's a pretty darn good player, and he's not alone. So it's just if styles make fights, Kentucky's not, they give Georgia problems. Of course, Georgia helped them out. They did not play very well that game.
Matt, great stuff. Thank you for the time. Look forward to catching up with you again soon.
Work on those touch screens. We get more clarification.
I'm not good at them. So we're going to try.
You're good at it. We just need to know what the
the vision cone pops up when I'm trying to draw, and it's a mess.
Oh, I hate that part. Well, yeah, we need to upgrade our technology.
Oh, okay. Matt Stinchcomb, thank you. We'll catch up soon.
See you guys.
There's Matt. He's talking Georgia Bama. We'll continue talking that game next on Mac and Cube in the morning. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Quickly going to go to Caleb in Wilsonville. Got about a minute, Caleb. What's on your mind? Football question you have?
Okay, so like, all right, so like, what's the point spread for Alabama and Georgia?
2. Georgia favored by 2.
Georgia favored by 2, and that's coming from
Vegas.
what?
You're asking why are they favored?
Yeah, like, I mean, come on, like they're going into Tuscaloosa.
They're favored because they're the better team.
No, I don't know if I'd go that far. They're favored because perception is that they're the number 1 team in the country, and according to Power Raters, they have about a 5.5 point advantage. I mean, I don't know if I necessarily agree with it though. I think Bama's pretty dang good.
Thank you, Caleb. The coach, Wim Sanderson, is next. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. I feel like our guy Caleb just went against an entire industry there, called him out.
Vegas don't know nothing.
How? But that is
Vegas gets it wrong all the time, but they are pretty good.
It's what they do.
And a reminder that they don't tell you how much a team's going to win by. They play off of the
who's going to wager the most on each side?
Yeah, they play off of trying to create balance based on people's expectations. Like they play in the court of public opinion. Like there's been a million times where we're like, wrong team's favored. Like last week. Auburn favored over Auburn. Or Arkansas favored. Auburn favored over Arkansas.
Well, maybe he sees that Georgia's lost 8 of its last 9 against Alabama, and Kirby Smart's 1-5 against Alabama, and he says, "How?"
But what does the game in 2012 have to do with this game? I just don't think that has anything to do with it.
Everything he saw it.
A lot of gamblers believe in history.
I'm not saying there's not
trends.
I do think there's a mental edge in favor of Alabama for sure. I really believe that, but I don't know if it has a huge role in this game.
Can they have a big mental edge, though, with the guy not there that did those things anymore?
See, like, I've never seen Nick Saban complete a pass against Georgia. Like, I think he's great. He's a great program builder, arguably the best of all time. But a lot of the guys that are on that roster have beaten Georgia.
Greg, they still looked over to the sideline.
And they had confidence knowing that he was there. I don't know. I think the other guy is 12-2 against AP-ranked opponents.
It's pretty good.
And his one loss that wasn't in the national championship game was against Oregon with Fresno State, and he lost by 7. So, yeah, I think the guy that's on the sideline now is pretty good too. So I don't pay a whole lot of attention to the trends as it relates to this game. I look at the matchups, and I think Bama matches up really well. But there is a sentiment in the court of public opinion that Georgia's the best team in the country, which is why they're favored.
Okay, let's go to the coach, Wimp Sanderson. He joins us this time each and every Thursday, thanks to our friends at Coke and Piggly Wiggly. Coach, how we doing today?
Well, y'all don't need both of y'all don't need to be talking about that because you're talking to a guy that picked Tennessee last week and won the blue plate. And nobody bragged on me. Y'all didn't say a word about it. Y'all didn't even remember me picking Tennessee.
We should have definitely started the show on Monday referencing your blue plate winner, Coach. I apologize.
Y'all are not doing the job that you're supposed to be doing. And, you talk about other stuff. It was a bunch of baloney. I'll give you the blue plate before I leave the show for you. You ain't gonna
Coach, did you give it on the show last week? Because you had also told us that you weren't picking blue plates on the show.
Yes, I gave it on the show last week.
Okay.
Yeah, and that means you certainly weren't.
This show was it this show or was
Coach,
it?
I gave it on your show.
Coach. Great job on the blue plate last week. You nailed that.
You forget. You'll forget every cotton picking thing. Let me tell you something.
Well, now I'm trying to give you credit for it.
They put in the NCAA puts in this cotton picking rule of where if you play 4 games, you can play but less than 4 games and not get and have a year's eligibility. So the UNLV guy didn't get his 100,000, didn't get but 3,000. He can't buy anything for 3,000. So he quit. This goober out here at Southern Cal, who thinks he's a great defensive player's agent, and I'm going to talk about that before you run me off, or his daddy called and said, I want him to quit playing, to redshirt this year, because next year he'll be the captain and the leader of the defense there. This year he's not playing much. So what they've done with the NCAA, what they've done is they've taken advantage of that kind of stupid rule. And now they're walking away from it. Now, let me tell you, that's ridiculous. Both of those things are ridiculous. Now, let me tell you this. Here's what happens. And, I've already told you we gave them $15 a month laundry money when I was coaching. So y'all have already laughed about that. Don't blame you. But what happens to you is simply this. The agent, the grandmother, the granddaddy, or somebody, they go to the assistant coach and they tell him what they want to do or they're about to quit. They're scared to tell the head coach. And every assistant coach who's position coach, both of you guys know position coaches. You had position coaches. they go and do whatever they need, whatever they need to do with the head coach to get the more money to keep them. That's what's happening. There are more knocks on assistant coaches' doors right now, and will be when you start into, I don't know if I want to play in the 12-man playoff or not. I'm not sure whether I want to play in the bowl game or not. Those knocks on those doors are big. Okay.
I agree, Coach, and it's unfortunate where we are, but and you just brought up something that's even more interesting. We're used to seeing this with bowl games, especially, but I mean, where are we going to be towards the end of the season when teams are out of playoff contention, and some teams that are going to the playoffs and guys know they need to get out now to secure their spot somewhere else. I don't know how it's going to look.
Anything, Greg? You got anything to say about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're entering a really strange time where it's very, very individualized. I think we have a lot of bad actors. I've said yesterday, I think there's ways of curbing this behavior. I think transparency in NIL world would be really valuable. I think having credited agents that have to go through a lengthy course in order to be certified to represent college athletes would be super valuable. I also think we need to drop the hammer in the event in which people are tampering, and make that enforceable at the conference level. Even though I don't know if the conference is going to want that, I think that's the way to do it. And I think the way you do it is by fining coaches significant amounts of money in the event in which they're tampering. Not that they miss time and there's no postseason bowl ban, but if they're tampering, hey, guess what? And we can prove it, we're going to hit you for $1 million fine.
Yeah, it's going to be a hard rule when you can't verify anything exactly. Can't complete. You know what's going on. It makes
you can, and you don't have the funding to go and put together. Do you think the conference is going to all of a sudden spend, $5 million of their own resources on trying to police their schools?
Yeah, well,
probably not.
We've separated the money schools from the non-money schools over the years, over this last few years. The ones that have the money and can spend the money are going to really do it, and the ones that can't, and we're going to have a lot of separation there. I'm going to jump around with you real quick before I get out of here. The Georgia game, I get all kind of calls on my show about the Georgia game. Yes, you better defend the running game of Georgia. I think it's big on Alabama's part to defend that. I think if you they're talking about McElroy needs to be unleash him. I'm gonna tell you something. You better be careful about unleashing somebody. You can comment, Greg, if you want to. The defensive backs at Georgia didn't come in on a Turner truck. The head coaches are pretty darn good, and you can't just throw that booger bear anywhere you want to throw it. Now they're talking about McElroy's legs too, but you can't throw that booger bear against Georgia just anywhere you want to throw it. Any comments on those two statements?
I think there are some questions. I think there's a lot of people that think Georgia's secondary is a position of strength. I think it's still a question mark right now. I don't know. They might be a position of strength. I just don't know yet. Okay. I'm not sure they've faced a passing attack that could challenge them. I don't know if Alabama's passing attack is the one that will. I don't know that either. These are all real questions. I just know that their safety, Malachi Starks, is elite. But the other three, to me, are still, at this point, an incomplete grade. And then as far as Alabama's concerned, this will be by far their toughest test so far. I think Georgia's more battle-tested, if I'm going to be honest. Yeah. I think Georgia, having played against Kentucky, is more equipped to knock Georgia off than Wisconsin was Bama. So I do think Georgia's a little more battle-tested, but I still don't know if Kentucky was prepared to exploit Georgia's secondary the way Bama might be able to.
Yeah, you're right there. I think this sounds a little bit stupid, and you probably people. I think Georgia would like to shorten the game. I think Georgia would like to run the football and shorten the game a little bit to keep the ball out of McElroy's hands and to keep the big plays from coming against them. I don't know if that sounds right to anybody or not, but That's what I think.
I don't know if they do. I think I don't think either team's really sitting there thinking, man, we really got to play complementary football and be mindful of the clock. Like if you're, let's just say Kentucky and you don't have the horses against Georgia, yeah, let's shorten the sucker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you're, let's just say Kentucky this week, like we've had a long conversation, like how did they shorten the game against Ole Miss? Because the more snap exposure you have, the less likely it's going to end well for you. Now, if you're playing against tempo teams, like if you're Georgia, you're playing Ole Miss. You're Georgia, you're playing Tennessee. If you're Bama, you're playing Tennessee. Tempo teams, yeah, shorten the game. That's helpful. Disrupts the rhythm of the offense. But against these two teams that are very, very similarly built, I'm not sure that clock stoppage is something that is in the forefront of your mind. It's always in the back of your mind as a coach because you don't want snap exposure to be overwhelming where Georgia's ran 42 offensive snaps and you've run 21.
I don't know about I don't know about stoppage. I don't know if you think about stoppage. I think you do think about the stuff you run. And, you know, I'm a basketball guy, so I don't know much about it. But you're careful with the stuff not careful. I think the Georgia quarterback is a little bit better than people think.
He's the number one pick in the draft, Coach. I mean, he's the top dude.
Well, a lot of people on my show keep calling in saying, you know, we got the best, you know, and I think Milroe's a good quarterback.
Well, you can think that, but you have to also acknowledge how good Carson Beck is. But, yeah, whether you think Milroe's better or not is totally up to you. But I mean, Beck's legit. I mean, he's the man. He's really good.
Well, it should be a good game. Let me tell both of you how here's what I used to do to go to the restroom at a big game like this. If I wasn't in the press box, what you do is you go in the outdoor. Don't go in the indoor. And you can get there a lot quicker if you need to go there. That's my advice I can give.
That's big.
All right, it is big.
You got to dial that up.
But that's big. That's really big. All right. All these guys that text in about
where should the players go if they have to go in the middle of the game?
Well, the players
injury tent.
And y'all are the press box. But I'm talking about, I used to take prospects in there. I tell the prospects, but I used to take basketball prospects in Birmingham. The best, you guys don't catch on. The best home field advantage for Alabama, and you're not going to agree, was Birmingham. When we played big teams in Birmingham, it was a huge home field advantage. Much bigger than Bryant-Denny, much bigger. So you'll have somebody call in and agree, and some people won't agree. But I'm telling you, that's the truth.
This is Tide territory, Coach. Don't get it twisted.
Y'all don't catch on to that because you wasn't even a thought in your mama's mind back then. So
don't get it twisted, Coach. This
played
is
in the game at Legion.
Ain't no Auburn fans in Birmingham. This is Tide territory.
Well,
suited up and played against them there.
Mobile and Birmingham, Alabama places. Montgomery's Auburn place. Okay.
Yeah, Auburn's got Montgomery. We got Mobile, Huntsville, Birmingham, Anniston.
We got Wadowd.
Fayette.
It ain't
Luverne.
over till it's over. The one thing that Auburn's doing is they do a good job of recruiting.
You get half of Opelika and half of Dothan. That's all you get.
Well, the reason
and you got LaGrange.
The reason that Auburn loses to Arkansas is because they don't get out. They don't get out in the recruiting period and recruit a good quarterback. They take what they got. At least the offensive coordinator at Arkansas flies up to Boise State and gets green. You got to be darn sure that you got. Look, y'all, you know this. It's a skill position game. The quarterback is the game. That's the winner and loser of the game. So you got to have somebody. I got what Coach says. Coach Saban says you got to surround him with good players. I got all that, but he better have some skill. Okay. You agree to that? Do you agree to that?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, you got to have dudes. No doubt about it.
Hey, Coach, before you give us your no, seriously, I want to know, before you give us the blue plates, there are a lot of people, specifically Auburn fans, that are mad about some of the things that Coach Freeze has said recently. Yep. What are your thoughts on maybe what he said and how he said it?
I think he's mishandled it. You don't say that you're going to beat. You don't say that you're going to beat Arkansas. You could have beaten Arkansas 9 times. Let me say this to you: the ball. He's going into the end zone for a touchdown and fumbles. Boy, was that costly. Probably the game of the year. He's better off with we rather than I. He's not good by saying the play that I ran last year at California was the one that we scored on. We had only one bad throw. We had open people and didn't get it to him. He didn't use the word "we." I think he hurts himself doing that. I think you have to blame. You blame yourself some. I think you have to use the disappointment that you say. I think that's a great question. I've had it on my show. People just, and I think that you have to be very careful. Very, very careful about eyeing it too much. I did this and I did that, and I think he's making a mistake there. I would imagine that John's called him in. John Cohen, who's a friend of mine, he used to be at Tuscaloosa when I was coaching. I would imagine John Cohen has called him in and said, "I don't know this." That's kind of be sure that we think our words through when we do say something like that. I think it's too much I took the blame. I would always take the blame, part of the blame, most of the blame when we got beat, and I think that's what you do.
Okay. As far as games this weekend, Coach, what do you think?
All right, real quick before you get me off here. I think if you, I look at this is not my game. It's not my game yet. I like Louisville and Notre Dame, but I like Louisville can score. The guy, the offensive coordinator, is a genius. He used to be at Purdue. He's darn good. He's a Louisville. They're going to Notre Dame. It may be difficult, 6.5 points. I like that. I like that game. I didn't pick it. I didn't dislike Nebraska and Purdue. 10 points. Purdue's not very good. Nebraska plays hard nose. I thought the third game I liked. And I couldn't. I wanted to call one of y'all and ask you, and I didn't do it because I thought, well, I just don't do it. Houston at Iowa State. It jumped up to 14.5, and I kind of liked Iowa State in that game. Those are three games I looked at for all these guys that called in and say, who else did I look at? Here's what I picked. I picked Boston College to beat Western Kentucky, and the line is 13. Now, y'all go. If I win, y'all gonna forget next week that I won. But,
well, you have not been giving blue plates, Coach, and I'm going to be honest with you. You have teased blue plate picks, only to give them on three-man front.
I did tease it
because the lines are moving and stuff. So you said I'm not giving blue plates on your show anymore.
I'm getting criticized. On my show for not giving it on Thursday.
Well, okay, well that's not on us. You can't be mad at us for not giving it.
Well, I ain't gonna be mad at y'all. Are great. You know how good I think y'all are. So, anyway, I think. Let me tell you something.
Tell us.
There are a lot of people that get criticized in this world.
It's true.
Greenkeepers get criticized.
Yeah, they do.
Song leaders at church don't like the right song. People don't like the preacher. All those kinds of things. But the guy that gets the most criticism in the state of Alabama, besides those three, are offensive coordinators
and quarterbacks.
And nobody like Bill O'Brien. I know nothing. Greg knows, and both of y'all know 100,000 times more than I did. I liked Bill O'Brien.
He was good.
I thought he was good. I thought he was smart. Bill O'Brien is the head coach at Boston College, so that's one of the reasons I picked him. 13 points. I think the guy at West Kentucky is not very good. He used to be at Auburn. He used to be at LSU. His mother said he was good.
The quarterback, you mean? T.J. Finley.
Yeah, quarterback. His mother thought he was good.
Yeah, Tyson Hilton, good coach. We'll give him that.
So I'm giving 13 to Western Kentucky and taking Boston College. So I do this for Piggly Wiggly and Coke. Coke is a great, great product. Coke's been awfully good to me. Coke took me to Augusta and let me go through and see everything and I even get to play golf there. I love Coke. Piggly Wiggly's great. Andy and Stanley, I eat lunch with Stanley about once a week. They run Piggly Wiggly. They're great. They go in there, walk into Piggly Wiggly, walk out with a smile. They got great steaks. They got great food. And they are very, very good people. I enjoy being on y'all's show, and I guess I will talk to y'all next week if you'll let me.
Thank you, Coach. We will. We'll be glad to have you. You should.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, Coach. The Coach Wim Sanderson joining us on the Buyers Right Hotline with us each and every week. thanks to our friends at Coke and Piggly Wiggly. So I want to start a bit of a light preview into this Alabama-Georgia game. Tomorrow we go max ball. We'll definitely get into it. Spend a lot of time on it in tomorrow's show. Before we do that, Greg, tell our listeners about Bromberg's.
Bromberg's going to give you that luxury shopping experience that you'll only find there. You better get in today because you only have 2 more days left. Make sure that you're a part of the Annie Glass giftware event. It runs to the 28th. And Annie Glass is an awesome handcrafted glassware. Annie Morehouser's in town. She's personally engraving pieces at the Mountain Brook store. So visit brombergs.com/events for more details. You're going to enjoy that luxury shopping experience at Bromberg's that you'll only find there. It's the only place I bought jewelry, bought watches, giftware. It's the best in customer service. You're going to have an amazing experience when you walk into one of their 2 locations, Mountain Brook Village and the Summit, or you can shop online at brombergs.com.
All right, when we come back, we'll begin our preview into Georgia and Alabama next on Mac and Cube in the morning. Welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. It is 9:25, Thursday, September 26th on Jocks 94.5. We thought there was going to be a little more rain than actually coming through today, G-Mac, but our listeners still probably need to know about B-Dry.
B-Dry has been serving Alabama and customers here in the community for more than 60 years. B-Dry is the very best. Always appreciate knowing that my home is going to be waterproofed because they back it up with the life of the structure warranty. Come out, fix it the first time, but if for whatever reason it ever became a problem again, they will take great care of you. Be Dry has been serving this community for a really long time, and they're offering 12 months interest-free and no payments. That's right, so you can get the job done and don't have to pay $1 for a year. So call Be Dry now to get the job done right with the strongest warranty and the best price. Call 942-1976 or visit BeDryAlabama.com.
Derrick Rose is going to shut it down. Going to retire from the NBA. Is going to be one of those stories I think we always look back on and say what could have been if healthy, because I think he would have been incredible.
So good.
If he would have been healthy.
I love at his peak. He was one of the most fun guys to watch.
There's no doubt.
Like how he could get to the rim. Like he would get to the. Remember, like when Steph started to really rip and he would get to the rim. Like that was D Rose on every single offensive possession. It was just amazing.
Yeah, he was like Iverson, Wade, all the guys that just
good.
had no regard for their bodies would go to the rack, and it was fun to watch because they would challenge just about anybody. I think this will surprise you on the low end. Career earnings for Derrick Rose.
Career earnings, 16 years.
First year, 2008, and was active last season with Memphis.
I'm going to say $94 million.
Okay.
I was going to say about $68 million.
Okay. Just keep in mind, Joel Embiid just signed 3 years, 194, right?
Oh, yeah. In my head was 168.
166 million. Also keep in mind.
Average 10 per?
Okay, yes, but keep in mind also his first contract was $94 million.
Yeah, okay.
Just his first deal, $94 million. So again, not only what kind of player he could have been, what would he have earned?
His first second deal?
No.
That's his rookie deal?
I think it was 5 years, 94.
Wow.
Hey.
Okay. Go back to.
Did he get picked in front of Stafford?
Okay, second deal. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
This guy.
Second deal, 5 years, $94 million. First deal, 4 years, 22.5.
Yeah, there you go.
My bad.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Ain't nobody got
NBA
rich on their
contracts.
first contract.
Sam Bradford did. Matthew Stafford did.
Changed everything.
They're breaded.
Changed everything.
50 mil on the spot, never having played it down.
Hey.
Rich. I'd take it.
Bread.
I mean, I wouldn't be mad at it. But you hadn't played. So it's okay. Hand it over.
I know it's not fun, though. Walking into a locker room, everybody hates you.
That's probably not cool either.
all because of your rookie deal. Now, then you play and then you're in good shape, but that would be hard.
Would not be easy.
You better be good.
All right, let's go into this Alabama-Georgia game, Greg. When Georgia is on offense, we know the offensive line a little bit dinged up. Tate Ratledge is not going to go. That could mean you're having to move some bodies around, but there will be bodies moved that have played in those spots prior. I asked Stinch about a little more creativity, maybe a little bit more movement, maybe just a couple different options on different plays. How do you see the Georgia offense and how it's operated so far this season, and what needs to happen to be successful against this Alabama defense?
I think for Georgia, have you watched the Kentucky tape like again?
Not in the last 5 or 6 days.
Okay, highly recommend taking a peek at it again because it's a very valuable tape. I was amazed in going back and watching it again because I think the first time I watched it was a little bit more focused on, hey, what's up with their protection? Like he's taking a lot of hits, you know. I mean, he passed up on a lot of open receivers, He left at least by my count 3 massive plays on the field by not throwing to a guy that was open. I take that back. 2 by not throwing to a guy that was open. 1 because he missed him on a deep post that would have been a touchdown. So Carson Beck, I don't think saw the field very well against Kentucky. And I also think that he saw some ghosts because Kentucky used some really unorthodox coverages where guys there's a lot of gray area in their coverages. With quarterbacks, your rules are, hey, this rotation, this way, you go this direction. Like things are very black and white. Quarterbacks like it when there's black and white. Some quarterbacks like the gray area, like Tua, like the gray area is fine. I don't care. I'm just going to feel it. But I think Carson's kind of a guy that lives within the rules. And when you cloud those coverages and make it a little tricky and you have late rotation and you have late double teams in the red zone, that can really disrupt the rhythm of the passing game. And that's what Kane Womack specializes in. Kane Womack is elite at creating confusion for the quarterback with the steps he teaches his secondary to take. He's one of the best at it. He's been doing it forever, dating all the way back to his time at Indiana. So that, to me, is a fascinating matchup to watch how these secondary players align in the pre-snap versus how they align in the post-snap against Carson Beck, who did not see the field well at all the last time out.
Am I right in saying that Brad White does that mainly with his safeties?
Safeties, but
and now they have Alex Afari,
who's a very
linebacker
safety
nickel,
hybrid,
whatever. So you can use him too, and you see him, and you probably think, okay, there's a DB, but he could technically be having linebacker responsibility. So just another guy that he can sort of mix and match in different ways.
But there's yes, I think that is what Brad White does. You also have to have a lot of faith in your corners. So you can't have your safeties messing with people's eyes and potentially be out of position if you don't feel good about your matchups on the outside. Like, you got to know that Hardaway and Maxwell Hairston can hold up on the outside so that these safeties can mess around and try to play with the quarterback. But that's going to be really interesting. The other thing too, when you look at Kentucky, they brought some pressure against Georgia. Kentucky's pressure numbers are up this year drastically. But they're mainly inflated because of how often they brought 5 against Georgia. Bama this year has blitzed 4 times in 3 games.
That is wild.
4 times they've brought 5 or more blitzers, 5 or more pass rushers in general. 4 times. That is a 3% blitz rate. That is the lowest in the sport by 5 percentage points. So I'm curious if this is the week where you see a lot of simulated pressure, which we've seen already, layered pressure where you have guys hitting it at different times and timing it up to kind of get the offensive line out of phase and create confusion between the offensive line and running backs. Kane's really good with that. I think this is Kane Womack, the defensive coordinator. This is why he's at Bama this game. And I would anticipate having his best plan ever and is going to have a lot of answers to what Georgia's trying to throw at him.
And what's really intriguing about what you said too is I think in the general football public, Kane is known as a pressure guy, like a guy who brings pressure often.
Mostly simulated,
not to maybe
though.
The Grantham levels.
Yeah, like simulated stuff. Like, he's really good with the simulated stuff. But 5, I thought to be honest, I was surprised seeing the numbers.
But a lot of those are. That doesn't mean he's rushing 4 defensive linemen on every play.
No,
I mean, there have been a lot of mixing and matching.
But there's only 4 guys in pursuit.
Yes. So I want the perception to kind of be understood a little bit. But yeah, the numbers are still the numbers when you're talking about how many you're dedicating to getting the quarterback, how many you're dedicating back in coverage.
Mm-hmm.
And do you think he needs to ramp it up this weekend?
Yes. Yeah.
Do you expect Alabama to hold up well against the run?
That, to be honest, that's my biggest.
About Georgia running into bad looks often. It wasn't my initial takeaway, so I do need to see it again. But if that's the case, that plays in Alabama's hands.
A lot of gray area, though, with how Georgia ran the ball against Kentucky. Those safeties for Kentucky at times, anticipating run or late rotation, you could catch him at like 6 yards, which is kind of in tweener place. Like, This guy is at 6 yards. That means, is he in the box? No, not really. But is he deep? No, not really. When he's like 8 yards, it's kind of like no man's land. It's a lot of in between. So it might be rotated that direction, but he's only 4 yards from the line of scrimmage. Like, because my receiver can get him down. But guess what? Handoff, triggering. Just had 2 plays beyond the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
Based on how many plays were left on the field. And I
okay. Yeah, I know. Should miss some open receivers. Like, I mean, there were throws that were there, and he just didn't hit them.
There's one that was missed for sure. That would have been a huge play and maybe broke the game open.
Absolutely. All right, tell you guys about Game Day Men's Health. If you are sort of on edge, if you lack sleep, maybe you suffer from brain fog, these could be the effects of low testosterone, and Game Day Men's Health wants to help if that's the case. They're offering a free consultation right now All you got to do is go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com. You can set that up. You go in. They're going to give you a free testosterone test and a free PSA test right off the bat. Boom. We're going to get that knocked out, get it out of the way, and then find out sort of your baseline where you are. And the good news is, here, listen, minimal upfront cost for all the programs that they offer, not just that free PSA test and testosterone test. They're going to get those out of the way first and foremost. Weight loss programs, they have those for you right now at Game Day Men's Health. Mention Cube, save 10% on any service that they offer. Get all the facts and more at GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Low stress, locker room environment, not going to try to put.com. Low stress, locker room environment, not going to try to push you in any program that you don't want. They just want to help you feel better. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Tell them you heard about them right here on McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. And when we come back, spend more time on this game. Maybe begin to take a little bit of a look at Auburn, Oklahoma next on Mac and Cube in the morning. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Some people who have their own shows out there don't like our callers, but we do. We respect all of our callers. Even you guy out there with some show on some network that might or might not be about college football.
I've had way worse calls than some of the calls we fielded today.
Says who?
Vegas.
800-239-9569 if you would like to get in. Let's flip it around just for a moment here. Kind of an early peek into this Auburn-Oklahoma game. That Oklahoma defense is real. They can hold the point. They can be aggressive and move up front. They can rush the passer. They have speed off the edge, speed at linebacker. Linebackers that know how to play just about everything, don't really get fooled a whole lot. A safety that can clean up anything at just about any time. Where does Auburn find yards against this group, Greg, and how?
It's going to be hard.
Says who?
Vegas. The other thing I would say about this one, though, is I have seen enough willingness. Last year, what was one of the biggest problems for Peyton Thorne? Cutting it loose.
Not getting the ball out on time.
Yeah, cutting it loose, like trusting it. Just rip it. And guess what? Like throwing in tight coverage. I mean, that's going to be what it requires to win this game. Like you're going to have to throw into some tight coverage. Your receivers are going to have to make plays. Simple as that. Like you have to win some one-on-ones. You're also going to have to be real good with your eyes because Venables does a really good job of scheming you up and making sure that the things that he's shown on tape in the past, like, hey, I blitz these two guys. Here's the coverage I play behind it. Well, now he's going to blitz those same two guys and the coverage is going to be different. So you have to be willing to just kind of see that and adjust to it and not predetermine. So there's a lot of challenges playing against Brent Venables' defense, but I just think that Peyton Thorne is actually more equipped this year to fit that throw into that tight window. It's had bad results at times this year, no doubt, because there's been a lot of picks thrown, but at least you have a chance when you're trying to fit in the tight window as opposed to just holding on to it and running around and taking a sack or having an incompletion thrown out of bounds. I
think Peyton Thorne's leg is going to be important. Use some of that aggressiveness against Oklahoma. We mentioned some of the edge defenders and how they can get upfield. I think more gap scheme runs for Auburn in this game. Got to be able to find it because I just don't think that you're good enough at getting latched on. I don't think the continuity is good enough, especially with some of the interior games that Oklahoma's going to give you, for you to just go run inside. I'm not even sure they've run an outside zone yet this year.
About to say, I bet it's coming.
Outside zone?
Oh, yeah.
In this game?
Yep.
You think Auburn goes stretch?
Yep.
Okay. We will see if that takes place because it has not.
Dollar?
There haven't been many. I'll go, well, not on one that they're going to live on it. No.
No. Who said they need to live on it? All I need to do is just see a couple. See 4.5.
Get them running, get them moving.
4.5 outside runs for $1. I'll take over.
See if you can. I'll take the under on 4.5.
Let's go.
Okay.
Action.
Yeah.
Action.
Outside runs or outside zone runs?
Why does it have to be zone? Outside runs, pin and pull, anything.
Well, they ran 2 jet sweeps in the first half.
That doesn't count. Jet sweeps don't count.
Perimeter
don't count.
Sounds like an outside run to me.
No, those are dumb.
So are you going to count? Are you going to count a counter or power that bounces outside as a perimeter run? Or are we talking like buck sweep?
No,
like
I'm
truck?
talking like called.
Okay.
Your aim points outside the tackle.
I'll take the under.
Action.
I'll take the
and
under.
Don't count jet sweeps.
I'm not counting
jet sweeps are dumb.
Push pass.
They're not.
Jet sweep. I wish we had them back in my day. I would have had way more touchdowns. Here, catch it, Julio. Go.
Here you go. So-and-so had a 65-yard touchdown pass, and I go back and watch the film. Like, where's the touchdown pass? I missed it. Oh, he pushed it to him.
Oh, 65 yards after catch. Okay.
There it is.
There we go.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so we'll see what the Auburn offense looks like, what's different, and if that run game can get going. It feels dangerous to the perimeter against this group because they can run. I mean, it's a defense that can go.
They're athletic now.
And they can be a bit of a problem for you. So if they can find their way out there, I know that's something that they want to try to do, but we'll see if they can be successful with it. We know Waynes can be successful in keeping your yard looking beautiful. And right now you might not be thinking about next spring, but you need to start treating your yard now if you want it to be the envy of your neighborhood when it warms up again. It hasn't even really cooled off yet, but those dormant months are coming, and GMAC Waynes is who you need to call to make sure your yard gets where it needs to be this time next year.
866-WAYNES-1. That's 866-WAYNES-1. Or you can go to callwaynes.com. Use the offer code JOX. That's JOX. If you use the offer code JOX, you're going to get 1 month free of the Envirolon treatment. So go check them out. 866-WAYNES-1. Visit callwaynes.com. Let Waynes continue to create your happy place.
All right, we'll come back, close it out, give you a bad box score of the day next on Mac and Cube in the morning. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Appreciate you guys tuning in, including our callers. Get to our bad box score of the day here in just a moment. First, you can always listen online, jocksfm.com. You can get the podcast there. Dusty Dvorak, Matt Stinscomb, Wimp Sanderson. Always go back, catch up on those segments, full hours, Apple Podcast, Spotify, wherever you get yours. YouTube, search Jocks945. You can always watch the show there, as apparently some guy who has his own show was earlier this morning and decided to share it. Easy ways to catch up and be a part of the show there. Tell your home smart speaker to enable the Jock skill. Airport Marine is where you want to go to get a boat. It's your Alabama's boating headquarters, and the season's winding down, so it means you can get great deals now at Airport Marine. Phoenix, Skeeter, Vexus, Icon, Bass Cat, they're all going to be there. Mercury headquarters. You need pontoon boats? They've got them. They're liquidating them. Go check out Mercury-powered pontoon boats right now at Airport Marine, Alabama's boating headquarters. Get on the water today. Whether you're a pro fisherman, just a hobby, or whether you just want to cruise around the lake, Airport Marine can help you out. Airport Marine in Alabaster. All right, let's get to our bad box score of the day.
Personal foul, 69, offense. He was giving them the business.
Intentional grounding, offense number 7. It's a 10-yard penalty. I'm talking to America here, excuse me.
That's the game.
All right, we will start with two very unique mascot-centric bad box scores of the day today. First up, the North Central College.
Oh, where are they located?
Somewhere in the central north.
They are the
Frankfurters.
No. They are the Red Falcons.
I feel like you saw a photograph of them and try that, but no.
No go.
I can see
I'll say
where
the Hawks.
I can see where Firebirds would be confused for Red Falcons. I'm sorry, the North Central College Cardinals. They took on Carthage, who are the Carthage College Firebirds. Game was not overly competitive at a 63-0 final.
Ouch.
Which would put Carthage at 0-2, by the way, losing 49-0 and 63-0.
Sounds like Kent State.
In 2 games. Not far from it. This game, by the way, saw 31 first downs for North Central College and 9 for Carthage.
Ouch.
Your rushing numbers, just 300 to 29 on the game.
That's it?
That's all. They were outpassed.
Not bad.
Yeah, they were outpassed 329 to 117.
That's bad.
So your total offensive output was 629 to 146.
I don't feel like that's as bad as it could have been.
It's quadruple up.
Yeah, that's not that bad.
It's also not great. Not the best that we have seen. Now, Carthage did punt 7 times for 266 yards.
There's the yardage.
We'll give them credit for that.
All right.
They were 4-15 on 3rd down, 0 for 3 on 4th. So those conversion downs, not kind.
Not great.
Went 16 to 20 touchdowns in a.
He leaned into the offense.
Good.
Yeah.
The Ohio Wesleyan mascot that we've done.
Something aggressive.
Let me think about it. Right.
It is aggressive. It is
Not
aggressive.
the slide protections. They are the. I wasn't going to say Ohio players, but. They are.
Nope. Greg, Ohio.
Hawks.
Battling Bishops.
Battling? BBs, baby.
And that is the location that our Gallenberg commercial is telling you to go be a part of.
Okay. Somewhere else. Okay.
I think that's Ober-Gallenberg.
Right.
But either way. Oberlin College.
They're the Colonels.
Nope.
There are
I'll give you a hint. Ming.
The dynasties.
About to say.
I like to guess.
Say, like, the Yao?
The centers.
The Yao Min.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Love that.
I'm here for it.
All right.
Maybe now going by Meow Men as they went down 74-0. There's your Ron Burgundy line of the day.
Wow. I'm dead.
We'll get you that one. We'll get you that one.
Now dead.
The Battling Bishops had 20 first downs. Now, 11 first downs for the Yowmen, not too bad. Your rushing differential was just 221 to 12.
That's a soft kitty.
221 to 12. Through the air, 199 to 120. So that's a 420 to 132 differential. Problem on third down for the Yowmen, they were 4 of 19, 1 of 4 on fourth down.
At least they got one.
They did get the one. They did. They were 0 for 2 in the red zone.
Okay, well, that didn't help.
And only had 1 sack in the game. 8 sacks by Ohio Wesleyans battling Bishops. And the turnover differential was 6-0.
Not great.
It makes a little bit of a difference when you go that direction.
Hey, notable alumni from Oberlin College.
Give it to us.
Ed Helms.
Proud.
I thought he went to Cornell.
Nah. He probably went there, but he graduated from Oberlin.
Oh, that's
he got that degree.
Okay.
Yeah, he got that degree from Oberlin.
There it is.
Got it, baby.
Another one for you quickly. Harding University knocked off Arkansas Monticello 63-3 over the weekend.
Okay.
Bad coach.
Scoring 7 in the second. Do not have a good football
Sorry,
coach, according to. That's what we've been. Knocked off Hilbert College 58-0 over the weekend.
Okay.
I feel like that qualifies as bad box score today. Just another one that we're going to throw in there. We give you a couple bonus bad box scores. Like Walsh knocking out Kentucky Wesleyan 54-10. And Anderson, South Carolina goes to 2-1 with an odd loss to Limestone.
52-5. Limestone.
Maryville College, Tennessee. The
Scots.
The Volunteers.
Got it. He got it.
Wow. How'd you know that?
He played him.
Yeah.
Oh, not fair.
They knocked off the Southern Virginia.
Not too familiar. I'm going to guess they're the Pirates.
Jeffersons.
They're the Knights.
Oh.
Yeah,
Pirates, close.
This game at Knight Stadium.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
There we go.
54-6. Maryville was able to take that one. Southern Virginia to 0-3 on the year.
OFA.
Have not gotten a dub just yet. All right, there's your bad box scores of the day. Grove City College.
Grove City?
They are
not the Waka Flockas.
No. I was going to go Power Rangers.
I was going to too.
That's Angel Grove.
Knocked off St. Vincent 56-7 as well. They just keep going. It's the gift that never continues to.
It's like our callers.
Give.
I'm ready for
we need more of those.
I'm ready for some.
Says who?
I'm ready for some FBS bad box scores.
Oh, you might have some this weekend. Separation Saturday.
Cole might have one.
Have you named this weekend? Sneaky Saturday turned out to be fairly sneaky.
Sneaky was last week. This one is
Steadfast.
Separation Saturday.
Ooh.
Part.
Oh. They will separate this
of
weekend.
6.
We give you our
Separation Saturdays are like the Fast and the Furious movies.
Oh,
all about family?
A lot of them.
Hard to watch.